And a very good morning to you. Welcome to the Irish Summer National Championships. This is the final day. John Kenny with Nicholas Quinn bringing you coverage of 3 sessions today. We're going to start now in about 5 minutes' time. Well, what's on today's programme? Well, we got the female 400 metres individual medley. We've got 4 heats of that. It's a busy programme this morning. We move on to the males 200 metres individual medley, and that is one of the busiest ones of the week. Staggering 14 prelims, which we will bring you here. Then we shorten it to the female 50 and the male 50 flies, and then the female 800 metres freestyle and the men's 800 metres freestyle. They're heat declared winners as well. We've got a second session coming up, which will start at 20 past 12, and a lot of the finals from the heats this morning will take place this afternoon in our final session, which will start at 5 o'clock. Nicholas Quinn's been here with us, the former Irish Olympian, for the last couple of days. Very busy programme.
Yeah, it's a very busy programme. I think there's 850 swimmers in total competed over the 5 days of the meet. So for a lot of these swimmers, first time they've been able to race at an Irish Summer Championships in 3 years. So to see so many numbers here, to see the atmosphere that's been here over the evening sessions and the day sessions, see some really, really strong racing. It's just really impressive to see that Irish swimming is in good health, especially at the younger ages.
Yeah, it just shows when you dig deeper below the senior level just how many men, boys and girls, women are competing at the underage level. Anyway, we're going to start with the 400 metres individual medley for women, in which we have 4 heats. As you mentioned, that second event, the 200 IM, the male 200 IM, 14 heats of that. Move on to the 50 fly, 4 heats for the women, including the first heat there. Many of our Paralympians, including Paralympic gold medalist Alan Keane and Nicole Turner, silver medalist Roisin Rain. It should be good to see them all in the opening heat of that. There's 4 of those, as mentioned, and then the 50 fly male, which gives us 4 heats of that. And then we're on to the 800 metres freestyle. We got 4 heats for the women 15 and over, and then we have 3 heats to wrap up the morning programme for the men. That could be interesting, all right, couldn't it, Nick? That those Paralympians together, Ellen Keane, Nicole Turner, and Roisin Rain, along with Ciara Williams and Dervla Brady. Yeah, it's good to see them all competing in the same event. Yeah,
and obviously we know Nicole, the 50 fly, is Nicole's main event, the event she won her medal at in Tokyo last year, and all 3 of those swimmers are fresh off World Para Championships in Madeira earlier in the summer. So for sure we've seen them racing a few events earlier on in this meet, and it'll be good to see them in that 50 fly a bit later on.
Well, we're going to start with heat 1 of 4 then. There's your lineup. It's day 5 of this very long week. 5 days of action here with a host of heats and then finals, 3 sessions. And it's good to see, as Nick is saying, this is a good strength and depth to our swimming community here in Ireland. We're happy to be here at the National Aquatic Centre in Abbottstown in Dublin to bring you coverage here on the Swim Ireland YouTube channel. All 4 disciplines involved in this: fly, back, breast and free. It means, of course, that the race can change quite dramatically quite through, Nick.
Yeah, 400 IM is one of those events where it can really change, different strengths for different swimmers, so always interesting to watch that.
Well, they're looking to make the finals to take place in our 3rd session today, which starts at 5 o'clock. So heat 1 underway then, the 400 metres individual medley with Jodie Perkins of Limerick, the 16-year-old, in 3. Leander's Eve Burns is in 4. ESB's Saoirse Dorgan is in lane number 5, and Izzy Lannon of Enniskillen Lakelanders, my apologies, in lane number 6. And obviously different strokes for different folks, and obviously the swimmer in lane 5, Saoirse Dorgan, who's got a very strong butterfly to kick us off.
Yeah, 400 IM is one of those events where you'll see different swimmers have different strengths, so you could really see the lead change a lot of times over the course of a 400 IM. But Saoirse Dorgan from ESB is really taking this fly out hard. She's built about a 3 metre body lead ahead of Izzy Lenan from Enniskillen as they approach the 100 metre mark, and they'll move on to back crawl, and then we'll see maybe some of the other swimmer strengths come to the fore.
Not the most stylish of butterflyers, but she's got very strong upper arms. She's going to take the lead at the 100 mark. 16.64 Dorgan. Lannon in second as they go into backstroke. And Burns and Perkins with their own individual battle bottom of your screen there. But as we mentioned, this is the 4 different strokes of fly, breaststroke, backstroke and free. And so leads can change as the race unfolds.
You can see that Jodie Perkins, the Limerick swimmer in lane 3, back all is obviously one of her stronger strokes because she's starting to close the gap on the 2 leaders on this first 50 of the 100 back in the 400 IM. But it still is Saoirse Dorgan from ESB in the lead.
A much closer battle now between these two. And Jodie Perkins has pulled away from Eve Burns of Leander in their own private battle after being close enough after the butterfly leg. Object of the exercise, obviously, is try and get out of the heats and into the final.
And 3 of these girls are 16 in the 16-year-old age category, so they'll be racing each other, trying to get into that final spot. There's 10 spaces up for grabs in the final session later for these girls, so they're all trying to swim fast times to get in those spots.
Midway point, the lead has changed. Izzy Lannon now has the lead as they go into breaststroke. Dorgan in second place. It's usually in the IMs, isn't it, Nick? Is where the race can unfold, is in the breaststroke leg normally.
Yeah, really, because breaststroke is such a unique stroke, a lot of the times you're either good at breaststroke or you're not, so this is where the lead can change, and you can really see that Saoirse Dorgan has got a powerful fly, powerful breaststroke as well, so she clearly prefers the power-based strokes, and this is where you see the lead changes. When you get to the senior level, the real elite level of an IM, you can't afford to have a weak stroke, and they all have to be consistent, but at these younger age groups you really do see some lead changes as the strokes unfold.
150 to go then.
That's it.
Dorgan has the lead.
Saoirse Dorgan took 3 seconds out of Izzy Lenan there on that 50 breaststroke split alone, so she's really shown her breaststroke power on this leg.
Jodie Perkins has shown that perhaps she doesn't have the best butterfly, but we've seen on the backstroke and also on the breaststroke that she's starting to close in on the 2 at the front. We'll be turning onto the freestyle leg now with the last 100 of this, the opening heat of the women 15 and over 400 metres individual medley on the final day of competition. 4:25.38. Lannon in second place, and Perkins has got right up to her now, so it's all about the freestyle.
400 IM is one of those really tough events. These swimmers will all be really hurting down this last leg, but at this stage, on the breaststroke in the last leg, after the breaststroke, your legs are feeling it. You're really using those power on the breaststroke legs, but then you come onto the freestyle leg and you still have to go to the kick to really have that surge on the last 50 to finish strong. So we'll see if these girls can have a little bit of a pick up on this last 50 there.
Dorgan just easing home in this opening heat. It's all about times and swimming rather than winning your heats. Quicker the time guarantees you a place in the top 10 for the final in our final session this evening, starting at 5. Last couple of meters then of this opening heat of the 400 IM. And lane 5 gets the call. Saoirse Dorgan wins in 5:44.89 seconds. That's about slightly short, 4 seconds quicker than our entry time. So progressively getting quicker. She'll be happy with that.
Yeah, definitely. First race of the last day of a meet to swim almost 4 seconds quicker than your entry time is a really solid start to the session, and I'm sure she'll be happy. A 400 IM is not an easy event to do, so she'll be looking to get back into a final and see if she can have another crack at that this evening.
There's your 1, 2, 3, 4. As we move on to heat 2. Just to speed things up, they leave the swimmers in the water below those starting for the second of the prelims, just to keep things ticking over quickly. There's your lineup. Again, 8 lengths of the pool. Butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, and freestyle. Heat 2 then. In 0, Niamh Pearce of Guildford City Swimming Club, the 15-year-old. Another 15-year-old from Limerick, Aoife Ferrick, is in lane number 1. Lucy Subdova from the Czech Republic is in 2. Marie O'Sullivan from Kingdom in 3. Rachel Harris from Brompton Swimming Club, one of the visiting clubs here today. Great to see them competing. Asgard represented by Saoirse Dolan in lane number 5. Lane 6 is Kirsty Dunn, also from Asgard, teammate of Dolan. Olivia Miskelly in 7 from Banbridge. Drogheda represented by Emma Marriage, the 16-year-old in lane number 8, and at 9, the 15-year-old Holly Robson from Lisburn Swimming Club.
And it looks like the two Asgard swimmers in 5 and 6 are taking this race out hard. Saoirse Dolan there looks really nice and controlled on that fly. She looks nice and relaxed. That's so important in a 400 IM. If you're wasting all of your energy on the first 100 of a 400 IM on the fly leg, you're going to really pay for it later on. But Saoirse Dolan's looking really strong as they approach this 100-metre mark.
So race of strategy is the 400 IM, there's no doubt about that. 2 Asgard swimmers out in front. Dolan turning in a 1:12. We've got a bit of an outside smoker down below us as well, haven't we, in lane 0. Good start from Niamh Pearce from Guildford.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot in the heat sessions. Some of them can be so close together, the entry times, that especially in the shorter races more, we see some people winning from the outside lanes, which always is exciting. But it is Saoirse Dolan in lane 5 from Asgard who's going to lead us through the 150-metre mark.
Two teammates keeping each other honest in the second heat. Dolan and Dunn. The rest have got a bit of work to do now over the back half of the race. And breaststroke usually sorts them out.
Yeah, I think when I swam 400 IM, and now it's a while back since I used to do 400 IMs, but the back wall leg I'd always try and conserve a little bit of energy in my legs, and then really use that power and the drive and the kick and the glide and the breaststroke, and then by the time you get to the freestyle, it's everything you have left.
Lead has changed there. Dunn, the better backstroker at the halfway mark. Dolan in second place. Niamh Pearce is in third. We mentioned her. She's in 0, just to the left-hand side of your shot there as they move on to the breaststroke leg. Object of the exercise is get out of the heat, finish in the top 10 and make the final, which will start at 5 o'clock this evening. It's a good battle between these two teammates.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when you've got two teammates racing the same event in the same lane beside each other, they know each other's strengths in and out. They know whether they're a back row specialist, a breaststroke specialist, or etc. So they know their strengths, and they'll know coming into this last second 50 of the breaststroke leg and the freestyle how they're situated against their opponents. But it's always nice racing your teammate, but you never want to lose.
Yeah, bragging rights. Dunn still holds that lead from Dublin. Harris has now joined the party, and Olivia Miskelly in 7.
You can really see on this breaststroke leg that it's starting to even up. You have Olivia Miskelly coming through and Rachel Harris. Harris is having a very strong breaststroke leg. She's come out of almost nowhere and is now going to look like she's going to turn in 2nd place. I know Olivia Miskelly had some strong freestyle races earlier on in this meet, so she could be one to watch. But it really will come down to who has been able to save that little bit of energy for this last freestyle leg.
Yeah, it's a good breaststroke leg from Dunn. Out of the water, nice and strong, long glide. And now give it all you got on the last leg, the freestyle. Battle on for 2nd place.
Rachel Harris in lane 4 is looking really technically good on this freestyle. She's got a nice high elbow, is extending out in front, getting into good catch position. She's breathing every 2, so she's getting a good bit of oxygen as we approach the last 50 of this 400 IM.
Now this is really where it hurts, last 50.
Yeah, especially when you're looking across and you can see that you're in a real battle with someone that's about digging deep and who has that little bit of reserves left to get their hand on the wall first. But it does look like Kirsty Dunn from Asgard is going to take the win in this 2nd heat of the 400 IM.
The opening heat time of 5 minutes 44. They're going to smash that. Our entry time is a 5:38.44. It's going to be well inside that. This is a good swim from Kirsty Dunn on the final day of competition. Touches now. Good swim. 5:29.40. There's a confirmation of that. Rachel Harris in 2nd place. Olivia Miskelly in 3rd. Then Dolan O'Sullivan in lane number 3. Niamh Pearce faded a little bit over the back half of the race. Then Shabdova and Robson.
That's what you see. You see that changing positions based on the strengths of each of the swimmers. But that was a really good race there from Saoirse Dolan. And now this moves us into the first of the seeded heats in this girls 400 metre IM.
So they, as we mentioned, wait in the water until the 3rd heat gets underway. Seeded heat, as Nick said, so we have progressively moved through to swimmers who are progressively quicker. Ciara Aiken there, you can see in lane number 4 is the fastest entry, and she's way ahead of the rest of them on a 5:06.61, so you expect her to just cruise through this. And here the lineup anyway, it's Alana Burns Aiken in 0 from Banbridge. Grace Cochran of Lurgan is in lane 1. Eva Bailey, New Ross, in 2. Ava McNamara from Lisburn is in lane 3. Then Ciara Aiken in 4 from Ards. Trojan represented by Rebecca Friel. Megan Jones of Portmarnock is in lane number 6. Aoife Doran in 7 from Aer Lingus Swimming Club. New Ross with Ruth Kelly in lane number 8. And it's Sarah Salai in lane number 9.
We see Alana Burns Atkins in lane 0 is taking this out really hard. We saw her in the 200 fly last night. She took her 200 fly out really hard, so she's clearly a fly specialist and she is making the most of that on the first leg of this 400 IM.
Outside Smoker takes him through in 108.39 seconds. Atkin Byrne has gone very, very strong. Now, because it's such a tactical race, it's doubtful she's going to hang on, because obviously the seeded swimmers and the quicker swimmers are in the middle lanes.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the exciting part about that 400 IM. We saw she won a medal yesterday in that 200 fly, so she's a really good 200 fly specialist. But this is a seeded heat, and Ciara Aiken is significantly faster on her entry time. So Alana Burns Atkins looks like she's holding on this 50 of the back row leg, but there's still a lot to play in this 400 IM.
Well, I suspect it'll be the breaststroke really when she'll start to pull away. So Aiken, the fastest qualifier, or fastest on entry time, leads them through. Burns Atkin has lost that lead now. She's starting to just slip away in this second leg.
Yeah, and Megan Jones, Portmarnock swimmer in lane 6, is having a really good back row leg as well. We've seen a lot of her earlier on in the meet in the freestyle leg, in the freestyle events and the breaststroke events, so she could have a strong second half of this 400 IM.
Midway point then. Onto the breaststroke they go. Megan Jones. Atkin, Burns still hanging on out in 0. Onto the breaststroke leg, but this is where the swimmers in the middle lanes will probably show their real pedigree.
Yeah, and Ciara Aiken's breaststroke there looks really good. She's getting a nice head position, nice long glide at the front of her stroke, and using that kick to drive her forward, conserving as much energy as she can on this breaststroke leg while still being fast.
Well, there's a big contrast between her and Burns Atkin. You can see she's just got this pull, then a glide, whereas Atkin seems to be spinning already in the water.
Yeah, breaststroke is all about swimming as fast as you can, as efficient as you can, and Ciara Aiken in lane 4 is doing a really, really good job of that. But Megan Jones in lane 6 is not letting her go, and Megan has actually really picked up her rate on this second 50 of this breaststroke leg and is doing her level best to close that gap.
Yeah, it's clever stuff though by the fastest on entry time, Ciara Aiken. You can just see her, she's just gliding through, while the swimmer in lane 6, Megan Jones, it's all effort, but it's just about preserving the energy for the last 100, which is the freestyle leg. She leads them through. Jones in a close proximity in second place, and you can see the breaststroke leg is done for Burns Atkin, who is obviously, as you mentioned, more of a butterflyer.
And these two girls are breathing to their left and to their right respectively, so they're actually breathing facing each other, so they'll know exactly where they are and what they're going to have to do coming into the last 50 of this 400 IM.
So last 50 then of heat 3. Aiken starting to pull away. Jones in second.
And you can see already that Ciara Aiken has just gone to her legs on that second 50. She came off the turn, did a few dolphin kicks and went to her legs and is just pulling away from Megan Jones now.
It just shows you it's not a case of just swimming up and down the pool. It's all about tactics, especially in an IM. So less than 25 to go in this third heat. And this should ease her through to the final later on today. Ciara Aiken, the 16-year-old from Ards. Entry time of 5:06.61. It's well outside that, but that will be good enough for a final. It's considerably quicker than the previous two heats. 5:16.62. Jones in second, Doran in third, and Rebecca Friel in fourth, ahead of Eva Bailey. That's your top 5.
And those swimmers will be back for the final, and they'll be able to look back on this video, look back and see where they can find areas to improve on, speak with their coaches, look at their splits, see where can they push. Maybe they push too hard on 150, or maybe there's a little bit of room that they could push a little bit earlier. On this IM, what you see a lot of the top world-class swimmers trying to do is even split each of the legs, so even split the back row leg, even split the breaststroke leg, and then be able to come home a little bit faster on the second 50 of the freestyle leg. So even splitting those back roll and breaststroke legs is a really sign of a good tactically swam race in a 400 IM.
So moving on to the final heat then. There's your lineup. One of our visiting swimmers from South Africa is the fastest on entry time, the Samantha Randall. She's in lane number 4, the 24-year-old, considerably older than the rest of the field, which has in 0 Paige Austin Burrows in 0, Eva Bailey of Ballymena is in 1, Hannah O'Connor of Limerick, the 18-year-old, in 2, another 18-year-old in Hannah O'Shea from Dolphin in 3, fastest of them all, one of the visiting swimmers, Samantha Randall in 4, Hannah McCabery of Lurgan is in 5, Tony Jemison, also from Lisburn. City Swimming Club is in lane number 6. Lane 7, Hazel Bentley from Asgard, saw 2 in the second heat from Asgard. Then it's Heather Fain of Dolphin and the 15-year-old Darcy Walker out in 9 from Banbridge.
You can see a lot of these girls have got quite a high rate on this fly leg, but you want to just be nice and relaxed as you're coming through this 100-metre mark. If you're getting to this stage of the race after just swimming the fly leg and you're already feeling tired, you know it's going to be a long day for that 400 IM.
No entry limit for these events. There is a maximum of 2 foreign swimmers permitted to swim in each final. They get commemorative medals if they do medal. It's good to see visiting swimmers competing here as well. It just ups the ante a bit and shows the local swimmers that there are quicker than they out there as well, but it gives them something to aim at. Yeah,
for sure. I think it's really good. It brings up the standard of the meet. It gives that little bit of an extra competition kick for the Irish swimmers, and it's just is quite exciting. I remember a few years ago a big team from America, an American junior team, came over to the Irish April Nationals, and that was a bit of an eye-opener for me at that time. So it does really help the standard, pick up the standard and get everyone to get the best performances. But it really is Samantha Randall, the tuck swimmer, has taken over this race on the back row leg, and she's got it looks like from her technique anyways that backstroke is one of her preferred strokes, because she's technically really still. It looks almost effortless as she approaches this breaststroke leg.
You're seeing a world-class athlete here. Samantha Randall, South African, competed in the women's 1500 metres freestyle at the World Aquatics Championships back in 2017. Represented South Africa at the 2019 African Games in Morocco. Gold medalist there in this event, the 400 medley. So that's the kind of standard we're seeing in the pool.
Yeah, no, and you can really see she just pulled away from the field on that back row leg. Doesn't look like breaststroke is her strength, but she's maintaining that lead from the rest of the field. And if she's a 1500 or has swam 1500 freestyle internationally, you'd expect her to have quite a strong freestyle finish to this race.
Well, add to the 400 medley gold in Rabat in the African Games, you can tag on 3 silvers as well. The 800 metre medley, the 1500 freestyle, and the 200 metres backstroke. So there was a gold and 3 silvers as well. She's a class athlete.
Yeah, you can definitely really see that here in this 400 IM. She's built about a 12-13 metre lead on the rest of the field as she's approaching the last turn, or the turn into the freestyle leg.
So freestyle, and she's way ahead. Sub 4 minutes there, well under it. 3:54.39. Was in second, third, fourth, fifth, just touching now. Hannah O'Shea in second in a 4:08, and pretty much identical time for Hazel Bentley of Asgard, who's in third in lane 7.
Looks like there's a real battle between these 4 swimmers for that second place in this heat, and it does just look like Hannah O'Shea from Dolphin has the edge at this stage, but the Asgard swimmer Hazel Bentley over in lane 7 looks like she's having a strong freestyle leg as well. So could be a good race for second place in this heat, but there's no doubt that Samantha Randall is the class of the field and is going to take this heat win.
No more than a training swim for her, really.
Yeah, she'll be back again for a final session, so she'll just could be pushing it this morning to try and get that physiological benefit of having 2 hard races back to back, but it looks like she's going to be a good bit over her entry time, so you can expect probably to see her swim faster again this evening.
Fastest time in the morning, 5:06.27. She's an entry time of a 4:55, so she's capable of a lot more this evening. Real good battle for second place, and that's been won by Hazel Bentley. Jemison in third, then O'Shea and Bailey are top 5.
That was a strong freestyle leg from Hazel Bentley to get the second place and the fastest Irish swimmer in that heat, because she came from third or fourth place in the breaststroke leg but swam through to get that touch and get second place in that heat, and she'll be back again for a final later on this evening.
So we're going to change event now, having completed the opening discipline this morning, the 400 free. It's the 200 IM, all four strokes again involved, 50 meters each, fly, back, breaststroke, and then freestyle.
So shorter IM distance here, so the lead changes might not be quite as dramatic, but you'll still definitely see the strengths of different athletes come to the fore at different stages of this 200 medley race for the boys.
Incredibly, we have 14 heats. This is the first of those. There's your lineup. Just the 5 swimmers in this opening heat. Away they go then, and it is Pierce Handley in 2, Ryan McDowell is in 3, Handley's from Blackrock, McDowell's from Bangor, Thomas Price then in 4 from Lisburn, Dolphin swimmer Aidan McGrath in 5, and Bryn Winnie is in lane number 6 from Leander. So unlike the 400, we change now to the backstroke at the 50 metre mark. Price leads them through in a 30.44. McGrath pretty close to the black cap.
Yeah, it's these two swimmers in the middle lanes, Price and McGrath from Lisburn and Dolphin, that look like they're pushing the early pace here. Price got nice long, looking quite relaxed on this back row leg, but especially at these younger ages, breaststroke is often the one that separates these swimmers, so we'll see as they approach the 100 metre mark here.
Midway point then, Price leads 68.34, and McGrath pretty close. Onto the breaststroke leg they go. All 15 years of age these in our opening heat. Price has got the fastest entry time of a 2:33.55. He's in lane 4. We will get progressively quicker as we go through the morning session.
It looks like McGrath from Dolphins is just taking the lead in this, using that breaststroke a little bit higher tempo than Price in lane 4, and he's just using that to push himself into the lead, and he's going to turn first at the 150 metre mark here.
50 free to go then. Yeah, it's a good battle between these two. It's all about time, of course, but you'd like to win your heat.
Yeah, and Thomas Price's freestyle looks really good. He's already taken that lead. He's got that nice 6-speed kick at the back there. You can see it's really motoring him home. And then got a nice connection at the front of his stroke, so he's really took charge of this race in that freestyle leg.
Yeah, he really has, hasn't he? As you can see, like an outboard motor, those legs going to the 6-speed kick. 5 to go. He's going to win this comfortably. That's a good freestyle leg from him. 2:27.28. That's well inside his entry time. 5 seconds as well. That was a very good last leg from Price.
Absolutely. He came back in a 33.38, which was 2.5 seconds faster than Aidan McGrath on that freestyle leg alone. There was very little separating those two swimmers through 150 metres, but that freestyle leg from Price was the difference maker there in that heat 1.
I've got to give credit to the organisers here. It's very well run meet. Everything, all the swimmers have to be ready and on the blocks because they just fly through. As you can see, our competitors from the opening heat stay in the water while we got underway with heat 2. So 0 to 9. Jamie Flynn from Splash World Sharks is in 0. Bryn Fitzpatrick in 1 from Lisburn. Luke Woolley, Claire Mollis in 2. Mimur Ramchandli is in lane number 3 from Hamilton Aquatics in Dubai. Good to see him here. Sean McMahon, Glen Albin in lane 4. Then Sebastian Berryman of Bangor in 5. Robert Mullen in 6 from Temple Oak. Kilkenny's Marcus Bowen is in 7. Kieran Waterson of Bluefin, the 15-year-old, is in lane number 8. And out 9, Lewis Fitzpatrick of Lisburn.
And it really is the Claremorris Summer Luke Woolley who has taken control of this race very quickly, very early on. He was fast out of the blocks, and he is built up about a 5-metre lead as they approach the halfway mark of this 200 IM.
Great backstroke leg from him, and he's got a considerable lead now. How is his breaststroke? Well, this will sort the men from the boys, as they say. He's leading, but they're coming back to him now. But do they have enough to catch him on this breaststroke leg and then the freestyle? But I think he's got a considerable lead here.
Yeah, it does look like the rest of the field are starting to make ground on him. See Ramchandani in lane 3 is really making moves, as is the Kilkenny swimmer Marcus Bowen in lane 7, but it still is Fitzpatrick or Woolley from Claremorris who is in the lead.
He decided to take it out hard, and it's paying dividends so far. He's going to lead the freestyle leg to go, so he shouldn't be caught, you would think, on the final leg. Woolley, well, the ground between him and the rest of the field is being completely eaten up.
Ramchandani in lane 3 is absolutely flying it. We've seen him swimming a lot earlier on in this meet, and he's absolutely taking control of the race on this freestyle leg. Let's see what that freestyle split is.
2:26. That's quicker than his entry time as well by like 6 seconds, but it just showed you Woolley paid for that, didn't he? He really went out strong in the first part of the race, and he paid for it in the breaststroke, and then the freestyle, well, it just died in the water.
Yeah, you see, fly in the back all are his strengths, but you still have to conserve that energy, because as you see there, the rest of the field can make up an awful lot of difference if that lactic acid really hits on that last 50. But Ramchandani at 31 points. Actually, Luke Woolley's disqualified there.
Oh,
he was disqualified in that. So the early leader was disqualified. It did look like he had a bit of a quick start, so I wasn't sure, but that's unfortunate, but a learning curve for the Claremorris swimmer there, I'm sure.
If you go off the blocks early, you're gone. Used to be recalls for false starts, not anymore. You're in, you swim.
Yeah.
Let's give you the lineup then for the third of 14 heats. Pierce Rice in 0 from Banbridge. Michael Hussey from Galway alongside him in 1. Toby Baker in 2 from Ealing. Also alongside him his teammate Daniel Tedesco. Dara Hughes of Sleebach is in lane number 4, the 16-year-old. From Trident is Conor Lanigan. From Trojan in Dublin, Mark Gill. ESB represented in lane number 7 by Mano Botello de la Vega. Daniel Beggs is in 8 from Larne, and Dolphins Sasha Lychik is in lane number 9.
And you can really see that Daniel Tedesco from Ealing is taking control on this back row leg. Dara Hughes from Sleebagh went out hard on the fly, but it is Tedesco whose back row looks like it's dominating as they approach the halfway mark here.
Halfway mark. Tedesco just ahead of Pierce Rice. Conor Lanigan in 3rd.
Looks like Dara Hughes' breaststroke is really strong. After 10 metres he had already pulled ahead of Tedesco, so he's going to really try and stretch out this lead. He is getting up nice and high in his stroke and really driving into that streamline. Dara Hughes from Sleebagh there. A really powerful breaststroke leg. Using that leg drive into the efficient streamline. He's just picking up his rate now as he heads into the wall. it's really important that you have to spot the wall on these breaststroke and fly legs. See that surge to make sure you hit the wall on a full stroke there is really good to see.
It was a half stroke, wasn't it? And then a full stroke just to hit the wall at the right time. And that gives him the impetus coming off the wall for the last 50, which is the freestyle leg. And he's starting to pull away now.
Yeah, strong swim from the Sleep Baja swimmer. Just able to conserve that energy on the back row leg and then really use his strength at the breaststroke. But Tedesco is charging hard with 10 to go, but he's going to run out of room.
He started to die in the last 5-10 metres there, but he hangs on. 2:25.71. Entry time of 2:30.46. It's good that you're beating your entry times, and considerably.
Yeah, 5 seconds under your entry time is not bad for a morning swim, and he's given himself a very good chance of getting a second swim and a second crack at that later on this evening.
Progressively quicker as we go through. 2:27 for the winner of the opening heat. 2:26 and now a 2:25. Here's your list of swimmers who'll hit the water shortly for heat 4. Cormac Farron in 0 from Bangor. Lurgans, Zachary Black in 1. Lewis Maguire in 2. Breffni Swimming Club. Ross Gillespie from Swim Belfast, and Swim Belfast also represented in 4 by Bradley Mitchell. Sleeve box Adam Lynch, who just saw his teammate win the previous heat. He's in 5. Dara Horgan of Limerick in 6. Trojans, Jake Sweeney's in 7. Michael O'Driscoll from Sundayswell in Cork is in lane number 8. And Galway represented by Killian McCullough out in lane number 9.
This could be a really tight race. On the entry times, there's just over a second separating all 10 of these swimmers. So any one of them were to have a little bit of a drop, they could get the hands on the wall first. And it does look like it's lane 2 at the minute. Louis Maguire, who is just slightly ahead as they're approaching the end of this backstroke leg.
Yeah, he'll take him through at the halfway point. 66.49. Horgan in 2nd, Adam Lynch in 3rd. Onto the breaststroke leg they go. I always like to see the contrast in swimmers in breaststroke, Nick, and obviously it's your particular discipline. Some have it long, and as we saw in the previous heat, it was a very strong breaststroke leg from Dara Hughes, putting himself out of the water and actually just powering into the wall. But he paid for that, didn't he, on the freestyle?
Yeah, it's really all about balancing that power and that efficiency so that you don't want to be rating it, but you don't want to be too long either. So you have to find that sweet spot, and that sweet spot is different for everyone. But the fundamentals of getting into good positions are the same across all strokes.
Zachary Black has suddenly come into the picture on the breaststroke leg to take the lead in lane 1. .25 to go. It's 6 who's leading. That's Dara Horgan. Green cap, you can see him there, top of your picture. Should take the victory here. That's a good last leg from him. He's going to go quicker than the 2:25. Yeah, it's coming down by seconds. 2:24.05. Contrast the previous heat winner of a 2:25.71. Dara Horgan, Adam Lynch, and Zachary Black. Your 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, when you're taking that much time off your entry time, you know you're having a good swim. And as well, a lot of these swimmers will have raced a lot already this meet, so they'll know they're in good form, they'll be confident. And when you're diving in with confidence, there's a lot you can do as a young swimmer if you're confident in where you're at and you're confident in the races you've done. So really good swimming there from the Limerick swimmer.
Well, these are the next generation of swimmers. We do have a European Championships and Commonwealth Games to come. No swimmer in 3. Dara Hughes from Mullingar is scratched. So it's Aina Garvey in 0 from Mallow. In lane 1, Thomas Breen from the local club, the NAC Swim Club. Alex Barrett in 2. Lane 3, M3. Alex Barrett's from Blackrock. Ballymena's Oisin McNichol in 4. Sean O'Connor from Ennis is in 5. Ricky Fain from Dolphin is in 6. Teammate Ewan Fain, brothers, I presume.
Yep.
The 15-year-old and 18-year-old in lanes 6 and 7, swimming alongside each other for the honour of the family. Sean Bugler of Sunday's Well Swimming Club, the 16-year-olds in lane number 8, and then David Kirkoska of Czech Republic is out 9.
And really is Ewan Finn, the older brother, who's taking this out really hard on the fly leg in lane 8, in lane 7. A real spread across this field. They're all very tight on entry times, but we've got swimmers all in different places. Normally you expect the middle lanes to be slightly ahead, they're seated that way, but that's not necessarily how this race is playing out. But it is Ewan Finn, the Dolphin swimmer, who is in the lead, but it looks like other swimmers are going to catch him on this breaststroke.
The honour of the family, eh? Let's see how they do in the freestyle. The 15-year-old against the 18-year-old.
I'm sure
this
is one that neither brother will want to lose this one.
Well, it's Ricky who's the quicker breaststroker as they go into the freestyle. They're alongside each other. They'll be keeping an eye on each other. Entry time for them is around the 2:28. It's the 2:28.5 for Ricky, and Ewan's got a 2:28.71.
Yeah, Ricky Finn looking really good here. Nice and long at the front of his stroke, but he has got a high tempo, which for this last 15 metres is really good, and he's just pulled away from the rest of the field. The 15-year-old from Dolphin Swimming Club.
Good swim. 2:24.38, slightly slower than the previous. Ricky beats Ewan. Sean Bugler in third. It just shows you how equal they are in terms of entry. We do have a lot of prelims in this. We're on to number 6 now.
Yeah, and all of these heats at this stage are all really tightly packed, and that's why you're seeing winners come from anywhere in the field, really. There's not much separating in this heat 6. There's 2:27.81 is the fastest, and 2:28.37 is the slowest entry time. So half a second, 0.6 of a second between all 10 of these swimmers on paper.
Dmitry Zykov from Portadown in 0. Jake Logan in 1 from Banbridge. Jack Delaney in 2 from Clare Morris. John Patton from Galway Swim Team, 17-year-olds in 3. Alfie Shaw, Lisburn, 15-year-olds in 4. David Dwan of Mallow in 5. Mark Galland in 6 from Sunday as well. Dolphins, Noah Switzer in 7. Jacob Senis from Ealing Swimming Club in lane number 8. And the second of the Galway Swim Team is Keelan Geng. He's out in 9.
Alfie Shaw looking really strong on that fly leg. I had to look at his age there. He's 15. He looks really strong in the water. Long arms. The rest of the field slightly bringing him back on this back row leg, but he had a really strong fly leg, and it'll be interesting. This breaststroke could be the game changer right across this field because it's close between a couple of these swimmers.
Shaw leads him through at the halfway mark. Switzer second, Patton third. Very close. In fact, the top 2 have split the same time at a 1:06.15.
Watch out for the Clare Morris swimmer in lane 2, Jack Delaney, looking really good technically in this breaststroke, and he's moving through this field as they approach 30 metres on this breaststroke. He's really driving into a good streamlined position, and he's just picked up his tempo here, so he's putting himself in a good position as they approach this freestyle leg.
Alfie Shaw in 4, turns 50 to go. Not much in it between himself and Delaney. Jake Logan in 3rd in lane 1. And there's the rest of the field coming through. It's all about the freestyle leg now.
Yeah, and Alfie Shaw just looks like he's powerful enough on this freestyle to pull away again. A really good breaststroke leg from Jack Delaney, but Alfie Shaw is pulling away on this freestyle leg.
2:24.38, the winner of the previous heat. 2:24.05, winner of heat 4. That was the fastest so far. Well, that is the quickest we've seen this morning in this discipline. 2:22.27, Alfie Shaw, Noah Switzer in second, Jack Delaney in third. I'm not sure if that's good enough to progress to the final, but it's a good swim.
Yeah. Strong swim, and Alfie Shaw there, it was good to see. He got his head down, didn't breathe for the last 5 meters. That's good skills, getting your hand on the wall as quick as you can on that last 5 meters when you definitely are hurting at the end of a 200 IM.
That's the lineup then for the next heat. Heat 7 of 14, midway point. Patrick Ferry of Lisburn in 0. Filippo Calderini, the Italian, in 1. Odie Melia of Tuam, the 18-year-olds, in 2. Christopher Mason of the Lacal Swimming Club is in 3. Fionn Byrne of the local club, swimming in the local pool, the 15-year-olds, in 4. Shay Monaghan, Riversdale Otters, is in 5. Owen Rinn of Trident in 6. Alexander Newman of Bangors in 7. Ethan Lurens of Bluefin is in 8, and out 9. Jack Carrig from Limerick, the 17-year-old.
Looks like the Italian swimmer in lane 1. Calderini is just in the lead here on this back row leg. You can see across the pool here, these swimmers having a nice still head position on the back roll, having that turnover. Sometimes it looks like some of these swimmers have a slow turnover, but I tell you, when you're swimming, it doesn't feel like it's a slow turnover. But the breaststroke leg here is going to be really important to separate these swimmers.
This is the breaststroke leg. Calderini still has that slight lead in the orange cap. He's a big unit, isn't he? He's only 17 years of age, but he's a very strong-looking swimmer.
Yeah, he is a strong-looking swimmer. And he's really powering on this breaststroke leg. He's got nice, fast hands at the top of the water and is driving into that streamlined position. He could get his head down a little bit more and use that glide a little bit longer, but he is taking control of this race on the breaststroke leg. But also out there in lane 9 is making a surge is Jack Carrig from Limerick Swimming Club. So who's going to have it in their legs on this freestyle leg?
Calderini with the slight lead ahead of Melia from Tuam in 2 alongside him. And these two are bringing the field home. Last 15. Calderini's going to take this home, breathing to his left. Impressive start for his morning then in lane 1, wins in a 2:22.31. It's just slightly slower than the previous winning time, 2:22.31. Yeah, just 0.04 of a second slower than the previous heat.
Yeah, and he's trying to be one of those. Not only is he trying to make the final, he's trying to be one of the fastest 2 foreign swimmers to get a chance to swim that 200 IM again in this final session. So he'll have to wait and see how the rest of these heats play out to know before he'll know if he's in a final or not.
Christopher Mason in 3 kept them waiting. Patrick Ferry, Lisburn in 0. Filippo, that's the wrong heat. Moving on. Samuel Burke-Carey in 0 in Tala, from Tala. Pobiscus, the 16-year-olds, in 1. Emmett Cousins in 2 from New Ross. Banbridge represented by Matthew Moen in 3. Dominic French of Sligo is in lane 4. Fastest entry time. Donica McCarthy in 5 for New Ross. Ben O'Reilly from Banbridge is in number 6. The second of the Italian swimmers we've seen this morning, Simone Petrioni, is in lane number 7. Then Rory Boyd of Kingdom in 8, and Aaron Peng is in 9 from Tala.
And it looks like Aaron Peng from Tala might just have the lead, although lane 3, Matthew Moen from Banbridge, is also right up there as they approach this halfway mark.
Rory Boyd, 106. We've seen a 106 splits really in the previous couple of heats as well, so they're pretty much splitting at identical times in the about 66 mark.
Yeah. That's why this breaststroke leg is so important. And you can see that Matthew Mohan from Banbridge is maybe making a bit of a move, but so is Emma Cousins, the new Ross swimmer in lane 2.
Different contrasting styles, the way they swim breaststroke. You can see you're trying it in your own local pool as well. It's not a case of just bringing the arms out as long as you can. It's a case of pulling it down, isn't it? Grabbing the water.
Yeah, exactly. You always want to be moving forward on breaststroke, so bring your arms out too wide and not moving forward, not helping you swim any faster. So it's about balancing that power and that connection, driving you forward.
Oh, we have an outside smoker here in 0. And Kerry Burke, who leads him through at the 150 mark, but this looks like it's going to be lane 3. That's a good battle there. The man in the red cap, Matthew Mohan. He's going to take the win here. 2:23.37, slower than the previous. Not by much though, but in terms of 4-length race, that is a bit of a difference. But they're faster than their entry time, so that'll please them.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Day 5 of the meet, swimming fast in your entry times. They'll all be hoping they get a second swim and get another crack at that 200 IM right there.
Well, normally we do have semi-finals and onto finals, but this being summer nationals age groups, we're going to straight finals. 3 sessions a day. This is session 1, and this is heat 9. Conor Donoghue of Castlebar is in 0. Dara Rusk at Lone in 1. Killian Langton, Sligo in 2. Aidan Mallet of Lisburns in 3. And it's Killian O'Loughlin Brophy of Coolmine in lane number 16. The 16-year-old, I should say, in lane number 4. Ewan Maguire in 5 from the NAC. Sean Donlan, Glenalbin in lane number 6, and Keane George in 7 from Tullamore. Ben Cardwell of Ards is in lane number 8, and Ben Merrigan of Dolphin, the 16-year-olds, out 9.
And this is really tight across the board here. There's 6 swimmers all swimming in a line, so it really is going to be the breaststroke could be the one that separates these swimmers and see who comes to the fore. But it's lane 1 Conor Donoghue, lane 3 Aidan Mallet, 4 you've got Brophy O'Loughlin and Coolmine. There's a lot of swimmers in the mix at this 100-metre stage.
Midway point then. O'Loughlin Brophy, and that's a quick swim from him. Now we've seen it this morning that they were all splitting around the 106 times, the faster of the heats as we progress, but that's one of the quickest times we've seen today now, 64 seconds.
Yeah, that is quite quick. They're moving through that first 100, and it is O'Loughlin Brophy from Coolmine who is taking charge on this breaststroke leg. It's got quite a high tempo, but what I like to see is he's got really fast hands and he's driving into that streamlined position.
Technically very good. Last 50 then, onto the freestyle they go. And this the 9th of 14 heats. The Summer Nationals in the 200 IM for men and boys. May have paid for that a little bit on the breaststroke leg because the rest of them are starting to come back to him.
It looks like Aidan Mallet in lane 3 is charging quite hard. O'Loughlin Brophy is just trying to hold on here with 15 to go.
Gulping for air, you can see it. He really is struggling down these last couple of metres. Can he hold on for the win? Lane 2 coming strongly through as well. Just about hung on. 2:21.89, fastest time so far for Brophy O'Loughlin. That hurt.
Yeah, breathing every 2 on that last length. You could see he was just used up so much of his energy on the breaststroke that he looked technically quite well though. He looked still technically quite good, but just didn't have it in his legs. It didn't have that tempo to go as the rest of the guys in that heat were charging him or hunting him down.
Heat 10. Alexander McMullen of Bangor in 0. Mishkamov of Hamilton is in lane number 1, visiting Dubai Club. Perotti of Italy in lane number 2. Cormac Rinn of Trident in 3. Sowens of Hamilton, also from Dubai. 3 Dubai swimmers in this heat. He's in 4. Keane Mason of Kingdom in 5. Alexander Push from Dubai in 6. Dara Morgan in 7 from Coolmine. Killian Murphy of Swilly Seals is in 8, I should say, and Jericho Balgos of Larne is in 9.
Dara Morgan really powered on that fly leg, 27.58. I think that could be the fastest fly split we've seen so far, and he's maintaining that lead as they approach the halfway mark.
Halfway mark. Dara Morgan leads them through in lane number 7. Centre lane starting to come through now on this, the breaststroke leg.
Yeah, Elias Owens there, the breaststroke looks like he got a really smooth breaststroke in lane 4, and he's just picking up his tempo in the second half of this 50. It looks like he's going to be the one that turns first here, but there's a really, really powerful breaststroke leg from the Hamilton Aquatic swimmer in lane 4.
Hugging the lane rope as he hits the wall now with 50 to go. Not much in it, just 600ths of a second between Sowens and Cormac Rinn. Onto the freestyle they go. Well, that's a rather unusual style for freestyle, isn't it? It's really much hands in front.
He's got one straight arm freestyle, and then one, his left hand, he kind of places out in front. He's getting into good catch positions though, and he is pulling away on this freestyle leg, and he is going to take the goal, the Trident swimmer. He's going to take the win in this heat.
Yeah, it's nice streamlining, all right, and that's enabled him to power away Cormac Rinn. 2:19, fastest time so far, 2:19.27. I'm impressed with that freestyle.
Yeah, I know it was that one straight arm freestyle, the interesting technique, but it clearly works. But Keane Mason, lane 5 there, a really fast last 50 split, 30.74, bringing him into 2:22 to get third place in that heat. So that was a really strong freestyle finish from Keane Mason there. But it was Cormac Ryan in that freestyle leg with that one straight arm technique, which was effective for him.
He wins that heat. As we move on to heat 11. Amr Tamer from Dubai in 0. Aaron Morgan from Ealing, the oldest swimmer in this heat, 25-year-old, in 1. Alexander McAleer in 2 from Galway. Glen Albin represented by Cormac Donlan in 3. Yasser Hassan from Brompton is in lane 4. Ben Moran from Aer Lingus in 5. Killian O'Connor from Glen Albin in 6. Daniel Mulholland Lisburn in 7. Alfie Coogan in 8 from Athlone. And Stephen Murphy from Temple Oak in Dublin is in 9.
Yeah, Killian O'Connor taking this out hard, 27.4, the fast 50 fly split, but it looks like the rest of the field are already catching him on after 25 this back roll.
A good shot across the pool. You can see it left hand side, lane 1, which is Aaron Morgan. Midway point then of this, the 11th of 14 heats, and Cormac Donlan and a 103.78. As you can see, as we progressively go through these heats, they're becoming the seeded heats, and they're quicker at the halfway point. Earlier on we're seeing times of 66. That's down now to a 103.
And it looks like Morgan, the Ealing swimmer in lane 1, on that back roll and now on this breaststroke is just taking the lead. He's got quite a high tempo on this breaststroke, not really holding that glide too long, but he's managing to hold on to his connection as he approaches the 150 metre mark here. It is going to be Aaron Morgan, the Ealing swimmer, who touches first in a 144.93 with 50 metres to go.
Tamer, the quickest on that leg, a 40-point freestyle. There's the last leg, 25 meters to go then for the swimmer in one. Aaron Morgan. 2:19.27 was the previous winning time from the previous heat, and he's quicker again. 2:18.48. Good swim from Cormac Donlan as well, and 31.92 last leg there. Ben Morgan also a 31.1. Aaron Morgan, 25 years of age, shows his class, 2:18.48. Heat 12.
We see now a big disparity between lane 4 and lane 9, as this is the first of our seeded heats.
Yeah, Evan Bailey from New Ross is the quickest entry time of a 2:06.7, so it is the first of our seeded heats. The Italian Antonelli is in lane 0. Benji Cummins of Ards in 1. Ali Ryan of Cool Mines in 2. Daniel Kennedy in 3 from Ards. Evan Bailey, fastest entry, 17 years of age, in New Ross in 4. Adam Wilson Banbridge in 5. Chokabayan of the Czech Republic is in 6. Niall McKeown in 7 from Banbridge. Maxim Dovbush of Czech Republic, 16 years of age, in lane number 8. And then John Short of Bluefin is in lane number 9, the 15-year-old.
Yeah, and it is Evan Bailey, really, really strong fly swimmer. I think back roll might be his weakest leg, but we've seen him in the breaststroke events earlier this meet and earlier this year in April. He's fresh off the European Junior Championships, so I expect to see him have a good breaststroke leg there, but technically on that fly he looked really strong, and I know New Ross and Fran will be working hard on that. And look at that breaststroke, he's driving into that streamlined position, nice long glide, conserving his energy, and he looks like he'll be in a strong position here at the 125 metre mark.
Bailey selected on the team for the Junior Championships. It's a whole succession of strong meets to come from Ireland's point of view. We do have the European Championships, 17 swimmers representing Ireland, which you can see live on RTÉ television, incidentally. 100 to go, Bailey still leads.
Yeah, Evan Bailey really good there, 38 split. Adam Wilson had a nice 37 split in the breaststroke, but look at that freestyle technique from Evan. We've seen him in the 100 freestyle, we've seen him in the 400 freestyle. That's what he qualified for European Juniors, or one of the things he qualified for European Juniors, and he looks effortless coming down this last leg of the freestyle, stretching out nice in front, nice 6-speed kick at the back, and is just easing his way into the win this first of the seeded heats.
Evan Bailey then, strong last 50 from him, and 2:10.87. Wilson in second, Daniel Kennedy in third. 2 more heats to go. As Len European Junior Championships in Otopeni in Romania. Seven Irish swimmers involved, including Evan Bailey, as we mentioned. Liam Custer, Grace Davidson, Grace Hodgins, Thomas Leggett, Molly Main, and Ellie McCartney. This is the penultimate heat then of the 200 metres individual medley here at the NAC. It's Michael Keogh in lane number 0 from Terranure. Trojan, represented by John Mulhall. Angus Cook from Limerick is in 2. Adam Colgan in 3. John Britton in 4. From Ealing, 27 years of age now. Matthew Hand in 5, in contrast, he's 17. Yaron Gerber of Ealing, teammate of John Britton, a 24-year-old, in 6. Brompton Swimming Club, represented by Talik Botos in 7. Kardowski of New Ross is in lane number 8. Kados Nagy And then it's Rory Lee, the 21-year-old from Sundays Well, is 9.
And it is John Britton from Ealing who's going to turn first at this 100-metre mark. There's some more foreign swimmers to come up in the next heat, so he's going to really have to push this to try and be in the top 2 and get a second swim in this 200 IM.
Quickest at the halfway point we've seen all morning, just outside the minute mark. Onto the breaststroke leg they go. And John Britton's entry time is at 2:06.
And Talak Botas in lane 7 looks like he's got a really strong breaststroke as well. He's making a little bit of ground on John Britton, but it is going to be John Britton who turns first at 150.
Gerber quicker over the breaststroke leg there by a second and a half. Closed the gap between himself and the leader. 25 to go in this, the second last heat.
Yeah, both of these swimmers are working hard on this 50 because they might not get a second swim, both being foreign-based swimmers, so John Britton's working hard into this finish. 2:06.93 from John Britton there, which is just a half a second outside his entry time, and he'll be hoping that'll be enough to get him into a final later on today.
Oh, no doubt he's going to make a final with that time, 2:06. Fastest so far today, and a good last 50 as well, split at 30.73. Gerber in second, and Matthew Hand in third. As we go to the final heat then of 14. Busy program this morning in this particular discipline, the 200 metres individual medley. There's your lineup.
Watch out for Ross Hartigan, the 24-year-old tuck swimmer. He was in flying form last night, pardon the pun, in that 200 fly. He was by far the fastest swimmer, swimming at 2:01 yesterday morning in that 200 fly, so he'll be looking to back that up with a strong 200 IM this morning. And those 3 tuck swimmers will be battling it out to get a final.
Gene Smith in 0 from Bangor, Charlie Cassidy in 1 from Dolphin, Ewan McLeod in 2 from ESB, Sligo represented by Ronan Kilcoyne, but then we got the 3 tusk swimmers from South Africa side by side. In 4, Ross Hartigan, 5, Matthew Randall, Jonathan Heslop in 6th, and Danny Morgan in 7, Liam O'Connor in 8, and Owen Walsh in 9 from Cookstown.
And it is Ross Hartigan, the fly specialist, who is ahead after the fly leg, but it looks like he's maintaining that lead on this back roll.
Picks a point in the ceiling, really, don't they? They're in the backstroke leg just to keep themselves on a straight line. They'll see the white or the flags just above their head to give the indication that there's 5 metres to go, and they hit the halfway points, and Hartigan through in a sub 1 minute, first one we've seen this morning. 59.82 for Ross Hartigan, Randall in second and Kilcoyne in third.
Randall is really making a charge here on Hartigan, and Hartigan had a little look over there to see. They obviously know each other really well, so he knows that Randall's a good breaststroker and is coming to chase him. So this is going to set up for a really fast 50, last 50 for these 2 boys, and they'll have John Britton's 2:06 in mind, because all 3 of these swimmers will be trying to be in the top 2 to get into a final as foreign-based swimmers.
Last heat then, and it's a good battle between these 2. Lane 5, Matthew Randall. There's only half a second between himself and Ross Hartigan as they come down the last 50 in the last heat of the 200 metres individual medley. It was a good battle, but 4 is starting to pull away now. Hartigan, good last 50 from him.
Very strong last 50 there from Ross Hartigan. He's fed, they were level at 150, and he's got a body length and a half at this stage. That's it. 29.5 last 50 freestyle split from Ross Hartigan versus the 31.9 for Matthew Randall. That's a massive difference. 2.5 seconds almost in 150 alone. That's a really, really big gap on that freestyle leg. So good swimming there from Ross Hartigan, and he'll be back for a final this evening.
Now, Danny Morgan will be pleased with that split too. It's a 29.3. But that's the fastest time we've seen in the final heat. No surprise, really. Ross Hartigan, the fastest time on entry, and also the fastest time after the prelims finals this evening, 2:06.19. we will have a new event now, which is the women's 15 and over 50 metres butterfly, and we have Paralympic medalists, Irish Paralympic medalists competing in lane, and it's number 2 and 3 in Ellen Keane and Nicole Turner, and Roisin Reen as well, the 17-year-old from Limerick, burst on the scene in the last couple of years as well. Truly good international Paralympic field this.
Yeah, definitely, and Roisin Reen had a fantastic World Para Championships, really broke onto the scene in Madeira a couple of weeks ago, winning medals. So brilliant to see her breaking through, the 17-year-old from Limerick, alongside the veterans Ellen and Nicole, who are well used to swimming internationally for Ireland on the Paralympic scene. Well,
Nicole is only 20 and she's calling herself a veteran. I love it.
She's got experience. She's been to, how many Olympics has Nicole been to?
Yeah, two. I think it's 2, yeah.
Yeah.
But our attention, of course, does turn to the other end of the pool. You can see them getting ready now.
This is our heat 1 of the women's 50 metre butterfly. Heat 1 of 4.
There's sort of a slight delay because somebody lost their cap. Yeah, somebody lost their cap in the pool. So they've gone to retrieve it. There's your lineup then. It's Ellen Keane in 2, just the one length of the pool, 27 years of age now, Ellen. Massive success in Tokyo last year, winning the gold medal. Just testing the system here before we get underway. Nicole Turner, this is her favourite event, the 20-year-old in 3. Then Ciara Williams from the local NAC club is in 4. Roisin Reen of Limerick is in 5. Dervla Brady in 6 from Limavady.
Real change in pace in events from the 400 IM and the 200 IM. This 50 flies, a real splash and dash. It's just the open category here. There is no ages for the 50s, so for the 50 of strokes. So there'll just be one final this evening. So everyone, the next 4 heats, will be fighting for a place in that.
Away they go. Keenan 2, Turner 3, Williams 4, Nireen, then Brady. Ellen Keane, her main event is breaststroke. 100 breaststroke is where she won her gold medal. Well, it's the battle in the centre lanes now between Williams and Nireen. Nireen's got to take this on the touch. Yeah, just about does it. 30.81. Good swim from the 17-year-old. Didn't quite get the touch in the end, but it had enough to win by 0.09 of a second. Keenan 3rd, then Turner, and then Brady. But these, of course, these swimmers are graded, aren't they, when you come to Paralympics?
Yeah, they are. So they have different classifications, and they swim against that. So a lot of the time at World Championships, so for Ellen Keane, it'll be an S9 classification. She'll be racing against other S9s in that breaststroke, and it'll be the same for Nicole and Roisin when they get to the Paralympic Championships or the Para World Championships.
Oh, we got one of the Fanes competing in this from Dolphin in lane 6. Shabdova in 0 from Czech Republic. Austin Burrows in 1. Macabry of Lurgan in 2. Kaisilova of Czech Republic in 3. DeLange in 4. Rooney 5. Fane, McGrath, Harris and McMenamin across the pool.
Yeah, Caitlin DeLange looking really strong. We've seen her earlier on in the sprint events, breaststroke sprint events, but she looks really powerful here. High rate, high turnover, really driving from the hips, and it's almost a body length up on the field.
27.5. Good swim, Kathleen DeLange from the South African club. Interesting contrast in styles there as well. DeLange for the first 25 didn't take a breath and then popped her head out of the water for the last 25 as well and just slammed into the wall. It was a good swim.
Yeah, strong swim there. There's some other strong foreign swimmers coming up. Karen Herbst here in lane 4, 27.7, and Inga Wiedmann in the last heat, 27.2. So they're all really trying to post times to be in the top 2 foreign swimmers and get that second swim. That really brings up the class of the heats when those swimmers know they have to give it everything if they have a chance to get back.
Here's your lineup then. It's Bailey in 0, Feenan in 2, Molly O'Brick in 2, I should say, and it's Feenan in 1, Semshi in 3, Herbston 4, McDougald in 5 from UCD, Quigley, Donegan, Logan and Davidson across the pool. 1 length, 50 fly.
Good underwaters from McDougald from UCD there, but it is Herbst who just slightly has the edge as they approach 15 metres to go.
Battle between 4 and 5. Herbston, McDougald. On the touch again. McDougald could work on the finish there, I think. Tried to take an extra stroke there, but didn't work. Herbst took it, 28.44.
Yeah, 0.01 between those two swimmers there. It looked like to me, from my vantage point, that McDougald was ahead, but she did take that extra stroke, whereas Herbst finished on a full stroke and got that touch by the smallest of margins.
I've seen down the years on the butterfly, especially in the memorable races at the Olympic Games, where Phelps won it with the last turn of the arms. We've seen that before. Marici in 0, O'Hara in 1, Ruddy in 2, Thornton 3, Wiedemann in 4, Coates in 5, McKibben, Allen, Burns Aiken and Phelan. Last heat.
Now Wiedemann looking really strong here. She's keeping her head down. She's not breathing at all. 1 breath there with 10 to go.
28.44 the previous heat. 27.34 fastest time. Inge Wiedemann of South Africa, and the 22-year-old. That's the fastest time of the 4 heats so far. And of course that wraps up that prelim. Splash and dash as you call it. Get it over very quickly. Four more heats then as the men's 15 and over. 50 metres butterfly next in the pool. 5 swimmers in this one. There's your lineup. Prendeville 1, Prendeville 2, Ashton 3, Peter Higgins in 4, Haslop in 5, and then John Mulhall from Trojan in lane 6. Heat 1 of 4 for the 50 fly.
Good underwaters there from Peter Higgins from UCD. And it looks like it's these 2 UCD swimmers who'll know each other well. Ashton versus Higgins, and it is Ashton with about 10 to go with about a half a body length lead.
Yes, 3 gets it. Callum Ashton, 26.13, just ahead of Higgins. Mulhall in 3rd. Just finishing now in lane number 2, Dylan Prendeville from Limerick. He's inside his entry time. Well done, Dylan. On to heat 2 now.
Looking at the lineup here, there's a lot of people who we've just seen in the 200 medley getting back up on the blocks to do a 50 fly.
Yeah, Evan Bailey we've already seen. He's in the middle lane there. Lane 4 from New Ross. Randall in 0, Junyan in 1, Fitzmaurice in 2, Sam Crew, Evan Bailey, Ross Hartigan from South Africa, Regest in 6, Sutton, McNamara and then Ewan McLeod.
This is tight. Evan Bailey, the New Ross swimmer, maybe just has the lead with 10 to go.
Four has it. Evan Bailey. He's in good touch. 25.17. Takes ahead of Dermot Sutton. I was keeping an eye on Sutton down at the 7. He's got this kind of Pankratoff way of breathing to his side.
Yeah.
So didn't take a breath in the last 25.
No, that's a really good swim there. Evan Bailey backing up that 200 IM. Nice high turnover, but not slipping through the water. Getting a nice drive, staying quite flat on the water. And these sprint flies, you don't want to see too much undulation. It's very different to the 200 fly technique. Trying to stay flat on the water, be powerful, and get that high turnover.
This is heat 3, Morgan in 0. Telek Bottas, second swim of the morning for the Brompton swimmer in 1. Connor Johnson in 2. Philip DeLang in 3. Sam Winston in 4. Charlie Eatwell, great name, in 5. Colvin Dos Santos Mencini and Oisin Tebike of ANAC is in 9.
DeLang looks like he's taking the lead here. Interestingly, he's breathing every stroke, which on a 50 fly is not that. You don't see it very often, and it is going to be DeLang. 25.51, slightly slower than Bailey in the first heat, but a strong swim there from Philip DeLang from Tuck Swimming Club.
Entry time at 25.61, just went under that. 25.51 for DeLang, Eatwell and Tibbet out in lane number 9. In third place, the 17-year-old, as we move rapidly on to heat 404. Again, 1 length of the pool for the 50 fly. Missing the lane 5. So that's absent. It's Morgan Berryman in 0, Michael Keogh, David O'Loughlin, Tom Fannin, Andrew Moore. 5 is empty. McAreevy in 6, Finlay Wright, Zerin, and then Colgan in 9.
Looks like Tom Fannon's got the lead here. He's a 50 free specialist. He's got that twitch, and looks like he's going to take the win in this 50 fly final heat.
Tom Fannin from Laser.
You've got 2 swimmers there. Tom Fannin, a 50 free specialist, based here at the Aquatic Centre in Dublin. You got Andrew Moore, who's a 50 breaststroke specialist, who's also based here in the Aquatic Centre at the National Centre here in Dublin. So those 2 boys will be well used to each other. The fly, they're probably coming from breaststroke from Andrew and coming from freestyle for Tom. They're meeting in that fly leg, but they'll be always looking to compete and try and get one up on each other, I'm sure.
Well, we've got 2 more disciplines to bring you, and these will be heat declared winners. It's the 800 meters freestyle. Testing the start once again, because we've switched from the 50 at one end of the pool down to the left hand side now as you're looking at it for this, the first heat of the 800 meters freestyle for women 15 and over. We've got 4 heats, and this is going to take a considerable time, all in around the 9.5 minute marks for these 4, and it'll be heat declared winner. So basically there is no final, it's how you swim, and the fastest over these 4 heats will be declared the winner. Three swimmers in this first heat. And here's the camera, Laura King of Swim Belfast, Northern Ireland, the 16-year-olds in 3. Fiona O'Keefe from Mallow is in lane number 4. And then it's Kate Kelly of Shark, the 15-year-old, in lane 5. And 16 lengths of the pool.
Yeah, it's a long race, the 800 freestyle. It's so important for these swimmers to get into their rhythm early on in this race. Try and establish, okay, what is the stroke count that I want to do? What is the rate that I want to do? And then be consistent with that throughout the race is so important. In swimming, it's really hard to change pace. Having that ability to change from one pace to another pace is really quite difficult. So for these distance swimmers, finding that rate that they think, okay, this is what I can hold for the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 meters is really important. And that's what they'll be trying to do over this first 100 meters of an 800 freestyle. And it is Fiona O'Keefe, the Mallow swimmer, who's turning first in a 1:10.17 versus 1:12.65 for Katie Kelly and 1:12.73 for Lara King.
Well, obviously they're quicker over the first 100 because they come off the blocks, but the next set of 100s will give us a chance to see what kind of pacing these girls are at. Just to go back to the the Len European Championships are taking place in Rome in Italy in August. The Commonwealth Games in Birmingham in England. Similar status for the Northern Irish athletes within Swim Ireland's ranks. And a number of those bound for Birmingham are also accepting selections to swim in Rome. So it's going to be busy, and there's 17 Irish swimmers competing there. Top of the list probably the likes of Ellen Walsh and Mona McSharry, and Shane Ryan's also included. Shane's had injury problems over the last while. It's good to see him back.
Yeah, this is the first meet that he's been racing in a long time, so it's good to see him getting back, getting into shape, getting that confidence back, and I know he'll be looking forward to heading out there and to testing himself against those other European swimmers. He's won medals on the European stage in that 50 back, so he's just looking to get out there and get in and race, and this really is the start of the next Olympic cycle. That's how quick the swimming moves. You've just done one, and especially with COVID having delayed it by a year, you're very, very quickly. This is a recalibration year. We've had Worlds earlier on in the summer. We've got Commonwealth Games for the Northern Irish athletes starting next Friday, I think it is. And then we have European Championships. So a really, really busy summer for our elite athletes. And then it gets into a bit more normality from next year with a 2-year lead into the Paris Olympic Games.
Yeah, we had 2 Irish swimmers at the World Championships, but the main focus from Swim Ireland's point of view is on the Europeans, where we've got better chances really of making finals, semi-finals, finals.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just about setting that up at the start of this Olympic cycle, is getting in and having some second swims. You go to a World Championships, you have to be absolutely on it in the heats to have any opportunity of getting a second swim. That's not to say you don't have to be on it at a European Championships to get a second swim, because the way swimming is going, it's getting more and more competitive. But we would be going to Europeans looking to get more second swims, more finals, really be getting up there, whereas World Championships is that much more difficult.
Well, okay, still well out in front in this, the first heat of the 800 free for women and girls. Daniel Whifford, of course, made a final. First time we've seen an Irish male athlete in a World Championship final. He's still very young, Daniel Whifford. He's got a great future.
Absolutely. Daniel's was here last April for trials to qualify for the Olympics, qualified that first event of that 800 freestyle, this event in the morning, and it really has been a springboard from them. He took that confidence into the Olympic Games, broke another Irish senior record. Then he went to Stockholm in April this year, and he broke the Irish senior record in the 4, 8 and 1500, and then he went to World Championships, broke it again, the first Irish man in a World Championship senior final. So literally from that April trials last year, he's just used it as a springboard and really progressed into a truly world-class swimmer on the world fields.
Midway through this first heat then, O'Keefe from Mallow leads them through in these first of these timed finals. Laura King and Kate Kelly having their own private battle for second place. But Whiffen also won his heat in the at the Tokyo Olympics last year, and he's been showing steady progression over the last while since he moved to Loughborough University, and to progress from winning your heat in Tokyo then to then make a final at the World Championships. It shows really good progression from Whiffen.
Yeah, so in these longer distance events, in the 4, 8 and 15, they don't have semi-finals at the Olympic level, the world level. So Daniel, if there was a semi-final in the 800 freestyle at the Olympic Games, he would have made it. I might be wrong, but I think it was 12th he finished, which was an amazing performance from him. Just that there is no that semi-final in that 800 event. But then he made that step at World Championships and got himself that second swim. Got into that World Championship final, the first Irish male to do that. So really has used the last 12, 18 months as a springboard for his career.
O'Keefe now away out in front in this first heat. Not much between second and third. Katie Kelly, indeed, in lane number 5 in second place, and then Laura King in third.
It's tough on these swimmers. You've got Fiona O'Keefe is out on her own. An 800 metre race is a long enough race, never mind when you're swimming it on your own, so it really is her versus the clock here. She's splitting 39s, just sub 40s on these each of these 50s, so trying to maintain that consistency throughout the race as she approaches 200 meters to go.
Now, these are heat declared winners, so there is no movement onto a final. So it's all about racing against the clock and your own personal time in your head. You'll be counting the strokes as well, Nick, won't you, as you go through these races? Try to be metronomish in the way you swim it.
Yeah, these freestyle swimmers, I know as a breaststroke swimmer, I got into the habit very early on of just counting my strokes. A little bit easier on breaststroke, you don't have to take as many, but got into that habit, and it's a really helpful checkpoint for the swimmers so that they know, oh, I took an extra stroke here or an extra 2 strokes here, and wondering, oh, why was that? Or the other ways, I took less strokes there, but I was going the same pace. So conserving energy, that's what it's all about. It's about being as fast and efficient as you can. So they'll know that they're into their breathing patterns. I think for these freestylers, getting that breathing pattern is so important for them. You see Fiona O'Keefe in lane 4, she's breathing every 3, so she's getting that bilateral breathing. But a lot of these swimmers don't necessarily do bilateral breathing. They might do it in training, but then they use in a race, they go to what's comfortable to them, what's fastest for them, and work on that. But Fiona O'Keefe looks like she's breathing bilaterally every 3 here, so a nice rhythm to her stroke.
Yeah, she's probably using this as a training swim, isn't she?
Yeah,
it's a good battle going on for second.
It's tough. Yeah, it's a really good battle on for second, but it's tough when you're out on your own. So she's got 100 meters to go, and she's gonna, or 115 meters to go. She's gonna see if she has a little bit of a kick to dig deep, but that is hard to dig deep when you're on your own and you're that far out in front. But these 2 girls in lane 3 and 5 are going to be in a real race over this last 100 meters.
Under the 9-minute mark, should bring it home well under our entry time, which is 10 minutes 15.85 seconds. The lonely place to be out on your own, but you're leading. Battle for second, there was nothing between them, between Laura King and Katie Kelly. 9:12.30 compared to 9:12.56.
You see coming off that wall there, Lara King in lane 3. The Belfast swimmer has gone to her legs and is kicking a little bit harder than she was during the early stages of the race, and she has just begun to pull away from Katie Kelly, the Shark swimmer, with 50 meters to go. But there's no doubt who's taken the win in this first heat of the girls 800 meter freestyle. It is Fiona O'Keefe. She's been splitting 39s really consistently throughout the race, so with 20 meters to go, it'll be interesting to see if she's had a bit of a pickup on this last 50.
Long time out on her own, but there's 5 meters to go to finish heat 1 then of the women's 800 freestyle, and a good spurt at the end. It's the wall, yeah, inside her entry time. Be happy with that. 10 minutes 13.07. Katie Kelly's won that battle for second in 3, and third home. Oh, sorry, Laura King in 3 has beaten Katie Kelly in 5, and O'Keefe easy victor there in 10:13.07.
Yeah, and you really see that really last sprint the last 50 meters there. All of those girls respectively split a 34, a 35 and a 36 on that last 50 after splitting 39s and 40s for the majority of that race. So they were able to conserve that energy, go to that different energy system on the last 50, use their legs and sprint home.
This is Heat 2 then. Aoife Ferrick in 1, 15 from Limerick. Antonio Sech of Sunday's Well, also 15, is in lane number 2. Dara O'Connor, Glenalbyn in 3. Isla Henry of Lisburn is in 4. Niamh Kennedy in 5 from Galway. It is Liddy Markey, the 15-year-old, in lane number 6. And Eva Walsh of Temple Oak. And Anya O'Neill from Trojan is in lane 8. And again, 16 lengths of the pool for the 800 metres freestyle. This is Heat 2 of 4.
It's really important over these longer distance events that the swimmers don't get too excited on the first 50, 100 metres. You just need to settle into your rhythm as quickly and as early as possible. Because what you don't always realise is expending that little bit extra energy over the first 100, while it might not seem like a big deal at the time, by the time you get to 600, 700, 800 metres, it can take its effect. So settling into your rhythm as early as possible is really important for all these girls here.
Well, they're pretty much all on the line together. Just lane 1, Aoife Ferrick has been dropped initially, but it's close between the rest. They all turned in at 69 second, most of them anyway, at the first 100. A very tactical race though, the 800. There's two ways of swimming it, Nick, really, is to take it out hard and fast and see if you can hang over the back half of the race, or conserve the energy for leg 2.
Yeah, I know which one I definitely prefer. That first option might seem like a good idea at the time, but with 200 to go, when everyone's catching you, there's a whole world of pain there. But you saw it at World Championships in the 1500. Paltrinieri just took it out hard. He was like, I'm going to take this race on, because we've seen that Bobby Fink at the Olympics, he has a really strong last finish. Ridiculous, coming home in something like a 25 on the last 50 of a 1500. So Paltrinieri, the Italian swimmer, decided, right, I'm going to be so far ahead of you with 100 to go that even if you come back in a 25, you're not going to catch me. Yeah. So that's a really, really gutsy way to swim it. Not the easiest way to swim it, but it is definitely gutsy.
Just start separating the wheat from the chaff here. Lanes 5, 6 and 3 are the leaders now. That's Dara O'Connor in 3, Niamh Kennedy in 5, and then Lily Markey in 6. Markey has the lead with 11 lengths to go. 13 lengths to go indeed. It'll be 11 lengths next time they hit the other side of the wall.
This looks like this is a good race here out in front between these three girls. You've got lane 3, Dara O'Connor from Glenalbyn, lane 5, Niamh Kennedy from Galway, and Lily Markey from St. Fiach Swimming Club. So these three girls are settling into the rhythm. Let's see what their splits are at this 50-metre mark. All of them splitting very close together. You've got 38.11 for Markey, 38.06 for Kennedy, and 38.16 for O'Connor. So they're all swimming at a very similar pace at this early stage of the 800-metre freestyle, but there is a lot of time to go, so it's about maintaining that consistency, maintaining that rhythm, staying relaxed, but knowing how hard you can push without tailing off at the end of this race.
Yeah, just keep an eye on that split time. So 38 point is where they've settled on, the front three. Let's see if they're going to keep that going for the next squad, or is anybody going to make a little break. Markey leads, just ahead of Kennedy. Dara O'Connor in 3rd. Anya O'Neill swimming well out in 8. From Trojan, she's currently 4th. So a 38-point split now. Let's see what they're going to do on this one, because Markey sees it just made a little break here.
Yeah, let's see what these girls are splitting at this halfway stage. It's quite tight. There's those 3 girls are out in front, but you also have lane 7 and lane 8, who is Eva Walsh and Anya O'Neill, who are not too far behind these 3 leaders.
Yeah, 37.8, just slightly quicker that leg for Markey. And that's why she's bodied at the head now of the rest of the field. It's been a busy week, Nick. There's been a lot of races, a lot of swimming. And full credit to Swim Ireland. We're back after 3 years in the age groups, or the Summer Nationals as they call them now. And it's great to see this many swimmers participating over the competition, so much so we have to have 3 sessions.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't even remember when I was swimming at the Irish Summer Championships, when I was an age grouper, Division 1 as they were called at that stage, whether there was this many athletes involved. It's like the atmosphere that has been here over the last couple of nights for final sessions. I don't remember that kind of atmosphere when I was racing, so it is brilliant to see. And I know from talking to some of the coaches that Division 2, which were held in Limerick a couple of weeks ago, was the same. So it's really good to see the clubs are in strong position. But I do know, talking to coaches, that there is an age bracket of kids who we've just lost because of COVID, which is a challenge. But it is credit to Swim Ireland for helping the clubs to build back up and get to a stage where we're able to have 850 swimmers attend this event and see some really fast swimming and get good atmosphere.
Well, Markey's banging in the 37s now, and that's why she's extending her lead.
Yeah, she's looking really good. The St. Fiach swimmer at this stage, she's got 250 metres left to go. And again, at 38.1, she's been really consistent with that 38s, 37s. Whereas the other girls who were swimming 38s with her at the start of the session, at the start of their race, have dropped down to 38s, highs, 39s. And the accumulation of that over an 800 freestyle is where you see this little bit of a gap beginning to emerge. It's nice to watch Lily Markey, the St. Fiach swimmer. She's breathing every 2, but she's got a nice high elbow as she turns there at 200 metres to go.
Less than 200 to go now. Still Markey leading. O'Connor in 3 in second place. Lane 7, Eva Walsh has made a little move to get herself into 3rd place.
Yeah,
in 7.
She looks like Niamh Kennedy in lane 5, the Galway swimmer, looking like she's trying to make a move here to get into that 3rd place and catch the Temple Oak swimmer Eva Walsh in lane 7. So it's a bit of a race on between those 2 girls, but it's clear that Lily Markey from St. Fiach's is well out in front, with Dara O'Connor, the Glenalbyn swimmer, in the 2nd position in this 2nd heat of the girls' 800 metres freestyle. And
so they'll hear the bell. Sorry, Nick.
Go for it.
Gives them the indication that they've 100 to go. And this is hurting now. You're out on your own for so long. It's a case of now just trying to bring it home with the lungs screaming at you and trying to find some movement in the arms and the legs as well.
That bell can act like a catalyst to get those legs going. You can see that kick behind some of those girls. Lily Markey there, you can see her kick is going a little bit stronger. You see Niamh Kennedy, the Galway swimmer's kick is going a little bit stronger, trying to get that every last little bit out of their legs with 50 metres to go here.
10:13 was the winning time from Heat 1 for Fiona O'Keefe from Mallow. We're well inside that.
Yeah, Lily Markey's really pushing it here with 15 to go. She's picked up her rate significantly now. We got 10 meters to go. Let's see if she gets her head down into the wall now. That's it, head down. Good to see. 9:56.53 for Lily Markey. That's the first time she's been sub that 10-minute barrier, so really good stuff from her. Really impressive as well this year, getting her head down, not breathing for the last 5 meters, which at the end of an 800 freestyle is not an easy thing to do.
Our PA announcer poolside, the former Olympian Andrew Bree, calling that one right for the first time in her life. Under 10 minutes for the 800 free. Good swim. 9 minutes 56.53 seconds for Lily Markey. Her entry time was 10 minutes 11, so she's obliterated that entry time. Not sure if that's her quickest time ever, but for the first time ever, as Andrew's been saying, she's under 10 minutes. That'll please her. And a good last 50 there, 35 point.
Yeah, that's a big drop on that last 50. You go from swimming 38s, 37s, dropping that down to a 35 in the last 50 is a strong finish to an 800 freestyle race.
This penultimate heat then of the women's 800 freestyle. Clara Doherty goes in lane number 0, closest to camera. She's from Carrickfinn Swimming Club. Czech Republic's 23-year-old Michaela Kalislova is in lane number 1. Hannah O'Connor of Limerick is in lane number 2. Danielle Farrell of Sligo in 3. And we got Hannah O'Shea in 4 from Dolphin. Fastest entry time of a 9:36.54. So it's pretty quick, and these are the seeded heats. Ruth Kelly of New Ross is in lane 5. Amy Dawson of Lisburn is in 6. You got a teammate alongside her. Jessica Robson also from Lisburn in 7. Saturday Nagy of New Ross, seen her swim already this morning, the 15-year-old, up on an 800 in lane number 8. And then Laura Fahy from Glenalbyn in the south side of Dublin in lane number 9.
All of these swimmers, or almost all of these swimmers, in a line as they approach the 100-meter mark. It's Ruth Kelly. No, it's not. It's Amy Dawson, the Lisburn City swimmer, who's turned first. But it is really tight across these 5, 6, 7 top swimmers who all appear in a line as they approach the 150 meters.
Still a long way to go. 13:50s. Dawson and 6, then Robson and Farrell, all splitting 36s.
And it's at this stage of the race that the swimmers are really hoping, or will be looking to have settled into their rhythm. That first 100 meters, well, the first 50 with the dive for sure, and then that second 50 can be a little bit faster, higher tempo, but it's about trying to settle into that rhythm. And by the time they've got to this stage, 200 meters in, they've settled in and they're like, okay, I know what counts, what rates, my breathing pattern, and settle into that consistent splits of how they want to swim this race for the next 400 or 500 meters.
Just on the international front, the next up, as Nick mentioned, is the Commonwealth Games, and then we have those European Championships in Rome. It'll be live on RTE television on the RTE News channel. Myself and Andrew Bree will be there to bring you full coverage of all the heats and all the finals over the 7 days. 18 Irish swimmers racing over the 7 days at the Seti Colley Stadium. It's going to be warm there. I was there in the World Championships back in 2009. It was dead heat. Tokyo Olympic finalist Mona McSherry spearheading the team, and also recent medalist at the FINA World Championships in 25-metre pool in Abu Dhabi at the end of 2021. Another Irish medalist from the Abu Dhabi World Championship, Ellen Walsh, also in action, turning our attention to the 15-metre pool. These two swimmers are, of course, swimming yards in the United States. 8 of the 9 Olympians from Tokyo 2021 will race in Rome.
Yeah, no, it's a strong team that the Swimmer Ireland are bringing out to Rome, and this has been the focus for a lot of these swimmers for this whole year, since they knew since Olympics that European Championships in Rome in August would be what they'd be hoping to peak for. They had already pre-qualified. If you had competed in Tokyo, you were already pre-qualified for Rome, so that meant that they had a year, or almost a full calendar year, to prepare for that championships in Rome. So I'm really looking forward to watching the swimmers to see how they get on. The first majors, well, we've obviously had World Championships, but the first major championships that Swimmer Ireland has sent a big team to. But before that, you've got Commonwealth Games for some of those Northern Irish athletes, and they start next week, which should be an exciting event as well. They're being held in Birmingham. But this 800 freestyle here, as they approach the halfway mark, we have 6 swimmers who are all in contention. Lane 1, you've got Kiselova from Czech Republic. Lane 3, you've got Danielle Farrell from Sligo, Hannah O'Shea from Dolphins, Ruth Kelly from New Ross, and then 2 Lisburn swimmers, Amy Dawson and Jessica Robson, who are all in contention at this halfway stage.
We just had the Junior Europeans in Romania, and we did see Evan Bailey competing here as well. It's good to see him. Liam Custer, Grace Davidson, Grace Hodgins, Thomas Leggett, Molly Main and Ellie McCarthy all involved in that. Well, the Commonwealth Games will give us a chance to see some of those who may go on to the Europeans, but the Europeans really is the central focal point internationally this year for Swim Ireland's competitors.
Yeah, it's the one that they had earmarked early on as being the key one. There's very little time between the Commonwealth Games and between the European Championships, so I think they'll be travelling, those swimmers who are doing both will be travelling straight from one to the other, so they'll be resting up for Commonwealth Games pretty soon, or we're starting to rest soon, and then we'll just be carrying that right through into Europeans, which is always interesting. Some people respond really good to it and get that bounce from that second meet, but it's always interesting to see, and I'm looking forward to seeing how all of the Irish swimmers get on across those 2 internationals to come in the next couple of weeks.
6 lengths of the pool to go then. It's a lot closer than we've seen in some of the previous heats here. Nick, lane 5, Ruth Kelly, Hannah O'Shea in 4 alongside her. And lane 1 is Kiselova of Czech Republic, also keeping the middle lanes honest.
Yeah, it's a lot closer than we've seen some of the other races, but Hannah O'Shea is just about taking a little bit of it's Ruth Kelly from New Ross away from Hannah O'Shea, who's taken a bit of a lead. We've seen New Ross having a really strong meet over the 5 course of this days, and Ruth Kelly swimming really well here. She's got a really nice technical stroke. She's got a nice high elbow, is maintaining that efficiency out at the end. She's got quite a strong kick, considering this is 600 metres into an 800 metre freestyle. She's kept quite a consistent kick the whole way through, which is really good to see. Her entry time is 9:37.46 versus a 9:36.54 for Hannah O'Shea, so this looks like this could be a really strong swim for the New Ross swimmer in lane 5.
Inside the last 200 then of this penultimate heat. 800 free, 4 heats in total, and we'll wrap up the program with the men's. They've got 3 heats coming up very shortly. This will be the last morning before we have 1 session this afternoon, and then our finals at 5.
Good split time there from Ruth Kelly and Hannah O'Shea, splitting a 36.10 and a 36.65, so they've got a nice rhythm here as they approach 125 metres to go. I'm really interested now to watch Ruth Kelly. She looks like she's extending her lead here, but I feel like she's going to have a bit of a kick, a bit of a bounce on this last 100, another bit of a pick up, and is really going to pull away from the rest of this field as we hear the bell there just going for 100 metres to go.
The bell not tolling for our leader, Ruth Kelly, 8 minutes 25.47. Previous heat winning time for Lily Markey, 9 minutes 56.53. Can she get inside that time and set the time then for the final heat? Because this is heat declared winner. They'll have one length of the pool to go after this. It's all about swimming hard against the clock. Great to have a really good timing system here as well. It gives you an indication of what they're doing. Splits of 35.63 there, just outside the 9 minute mark. It's going to be well inside then, this 9 minutes 56. And it will be the fastest thus far ahead of the final heat.
Yeah, you can see the New Ross coaches over the other side there trying to sign to her to go to her legs to get a little bit of surge on this last 15 metres. That was 2:35 splits over the last 100 metres. So let's see what her split on this last 50 is, but she's going to have a really strong time here.
Ruth Kelly inside her entry time by about 2 seconds. Again, a pleasing morning swim. 9 minutes 35.94, and had enough in the tank, at least she's breathing hard, to split at 34.84 in the last 50. Hannah O'Shea in second place and Kaiselova in third. The 17-year-old swimmer from New Ross takes the victory, and we'll wait in the water as just above them. We move to the fourth heat. So that's the target time, 9 minutes 34.94. We do have a couple of faster swimmers though in this final heat, visiting swimmers. Ruth Kelly will obviously be hoping that the locals don't beat that time of 9:35.
Yeah, you got Ella Carroll, the Limerick swimmer, in another 17-year-old, so she will have noticed that 9:35 from Ruth Kelly, and that will be her target time as she dives into the pool for this last heat of the girls' 800 metre freestyle.
Which has in zero Brianna Chamberlain of Cookstown, the 15-year-old. Hazel Bentley of Asgard is in one. Christian Mundell of South Africa, the Tuck swimming, and is in lane number 2, the 21-year-old. And two Ealing swimmers side by side. Cara O'Toole, 19, and the 25-year-old Felida Britton. Jenny Coetzer of Tuck's swimming in lane 5, the 21-year-old, and Ella Carroll, who's the fastest entry time of the Irish swimmers of a 9 minutes 14.55. She's in 6. Grace Cochran of Lurgan in 7. Rebecca Friel of Trojans in 8. And Jessica Gannon in lane number 9. And a fast start from lane 2 from Christian Mundell, the South African.
Yeah, Mundell from the Pretoria swimmer, swimming for Tuck Swimming Club. Very quick first 100 there, 102.91. Oh, the first 100, that's like a 400 freestyle split, so be interesting to see how she gets on over the course of the next 700 meters after taking it out quite hard here. But her teammate there, Coates there in lane 5, looking really long and efficient down this third 50 length. Nice long stroke, keeping nice and relaxed, which bodes well for later on in the race for her. But it still is Mundell in lane 2 who is pushing the pace. She split 33.5 there versus Coates there's 33.79, so Mundell has definitely taken this race out strong to begin with as we swim towards the 200 meter mark.
Yeah, Kristen Mundell, the 21-year-old, was part of the South African team for the African Senior Swimming Championships last year. 16 strong roster in that particular meet. 5 medals a couple of years ago at the African Championships. Kristen Mundell, including gold in the 400 free and the 50 breaststroke. So she's a swimmer that can adapt to different lengths, can't she, in different disciplines?
Yeah, they're very different events now, from the 400 free there and the 800 free here to also a 50 breaststroke. There's not much more of a contrasting styles, contrasting distances than a 800 free to a 50 breaststroke. So she's obviously talented across a lot of different strokes, different events, different distances, which is not easy to do for sure. I was a breaststroker and I could probably count on one hand the amount of times I've done an 800 freestyle. Wasn't where my strengths were for sure.
The good thing about this Summer Nationals now, as we mentioned earlier on, these international swimmers, and the good pedigree of some of these international swimmers as well, swimming against the Irish locals. I remember, this is a long time ago, Nick, but I remember Gary O'Toole, silver medalist in the '89 European Swimming Championships in Bonn, a long time ago, telling me that they went to Russia to do a swim meet, and he thought, well, all right, we know some of the leading swimmers will be there, but they didn't tell him that there was another 13, 14, 15 swimmers all within 0.7, 0.8 of each other, so they got blown into the water, whereas here the contrast was there was maybe 2 or 3 and the rest were some way distant. But that's what they came up against, and it's good to see that they're bringing here some international swimmers. I mean, Katinka Houssu, the great Katinka Houssu swam here a couple of years ago as well, Olympic gold medalists. So the more you bring these international swimmers in to meets like this, it just brings on the Irish national swimmers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember a couple of years ago that it was only a junior American team that came to the April Nationals, but it was just an eye-opener to see 40-odd, 50-odd American swimmers, all under 18, coming, but being so competitive. All of them were so high up there in terms of the rankings on an Irish scale, and it just showed us as Irish swimmers that, wow, there really is a lot of depth out there in the rest of the world. I know for me in breaststroke, as a breaststroker, I would always look at the Japanese trials times and I would be amazed at how deep they went. They have such a strong tradition of male breaststrokers with Kitajima, that like their 200 breaststroke was the deepest in the world. You could have swimmers going 212 coming 16th and you're like, how is that so deep? That's top 2, top 3 in Ireland, and they've got 16 swimmers doing it. So it really is a bit of an eye-opener when you get to see events like that, or when you get swimmers like these from Ealing or from South Africa coming and just bringing up that standard and pushing on the Irish swimmers and showing them what is possible.
So lane 2 still has the call. Mundell in 2, the red cap breathing to her right hand side.
She's holding on to her splits quite well here, Mundell. It's a 34.9, which is a bit of a drop from her 33, but it's not that significant a drop, and it's also similar splits to what the other 2 girls in lane 4 and lane 5 are swimming. So she's maintaining her lead as we approach the turn here with 250 meters to go in this final heat of the 800 meter freestyle.
The likes of Tux, Cara O'Toole from Ealing, and Britain also from Ealing are the top 3 here. They will get commemorative medals. I suppose the swimmer we're looking at really in terms of the Irish medal winners here is Ella Carroll in lane 6.
We've also got Rebecca Friel there out in Trojan. Her and Ella Carroll are actually in a real battle behind these foreign swimmers in lanes 6 and lane 8. So those 2 swimmers are quite close to each other. They'll be able to breathe across and see each other. They'll know where each other are in this race, and will definitely want to get their hands on the wall ahead of them. But just now it is Rebecca Friel, Trojan swimmer, who is the fastest of the Irish.
South Africa 1 and 2.
This is a really gutsy swim from Mundell. She took the race out hard. I was worried about her at the start of the race, but she is holding on. But maybe the gap is slightly closing. That was a 35 split from her there. So the other 2 girls in lanes 4, 5, Coates and Britain, both split 34s. So they're just beginning to eat into her lead here as we approach.
And they are spread across the pool. Our leaders on your left-hand side, the two coming through in the middle. This is heat declared winner, so this is all about the time. There's no advancing to finals here. There goes the bell, 100 to go. Mundell leads. Kurtzer in second, Britton in third.
This could be setting up for a fast finish. Mundell has about a body length on her teammate Kurtzer, but Kurtzer has been gradually closing the gap over the last 100 meters. So who's going to have the most left in their legs? Who's going to have saved the most energy with 60 meters to go?
Well, out of shot, the battle of the two Irish, Rebecca Friel in lane number 8 and Ella Carroll in lane number 6. This is for the Irish title, and Friel, the 16-year-old from Trojan, leads that one with just over 50 to go, but this is the battle for the overall honours in the 800 free. It's South Africa 1 and 2, and Mundell should just have enough to hang on here.
Yeah, it looks like she's going to get the touch here. Mundell, the swimmer from Tux, ahead of her teammate Kurtzer, which is a really, really gutsy swim from Mundell. She led hard at the start and she held on to her lead the whole way. That's swimming a race like that is a tough way to swim it, but she did really well there. What was her final time? 9:04.63, which is a good 15 seconds faster than her entry time.
You can just see top of your picture there, the battle between the two Irish swimmers. This one being won by Rebecca Friel, beating Ella Carroll. That's a good swim from the 16-year-old. Her entry time is 9:35, and she's 10 seconds underneath that. That was a good swim.
Yeah, that's a good swim there for Rebecca Friel, the Trojan swimmer, 9:25. That is faster than Ruth Kelly, the winner of the previous heat, so looks like that's the fastest Irish swimmer we've seen this morning in that 800 freestyle.
So well done to her. So we've got 3 more swims to come and 1 more discipline as we swap over from the girls to the boys and the men. The men's 15 and over 800 metres freestyle. We've got 3 heats here. And we've got Nathan Whiffen, Daniel's brother, coming up in the final heat. The gold medal favourite here. He's so far ahead of everybody else. 8:20.28 is his entry time. I think the large swimmer should ease to victory here in this heat declared event. 3 heats. This is heat 1. There's your lineup. $16 lengths of the pool then for the final event of the morning. On the final day of competition, the 800 metres freestyle for men 15 and over. Josh Bickerstaff of Lisburn is in lane 0. Ryan McDowell of Bangor is in 1. Daniel Tedesco of Ealing's in 2. Hillington Swimming Club represented by Liam Traynor in 3. Samuel Wright of Bangor in 4, Ben Merrigan of Dolphins in 5, Dara Horgan in 6 from Limerick, Kieran Watterson of Bluefin is in lane number 7, and then Kyle Kelly of Sligo's in lane 8. Young first heat, ranging in age from 15 through to 17. Samuel Wright's the eldest at a mere 17 years of age. Last time I saw 17 was on the front of a bus.
Yeah, it looks like Samuel Wright here, the Bangor swimmer, is taking this out quite hard. 29.05 for the first 50 of an 800 freestyle is not messing around, and he's turned at 100 in 102.01. Interesting, that's actually similar to what Mundell turned at 100 in the last heat of the female swim, but Samuel Wright is working hard through this first section of this 800 meter freestyle. Behind him there's a real line between lane 2 swimmer Tedesco. We've seen the Ealing swimmer already in the pool earlier on in this session in the 200 medleys. Then you've also got Ben Merrigan, the Dolphin swimmer in lane 5, Dara Horgan, the Limerick swimmer in lane 6, and Kieran Waterson in lane 7. They're all in a line, but it is clear that Samuel Wright, the Bangor swimmer, is out in front and in the lead as they approach 200 metres of this 800 metre freestyle. His tempo has slowed down significantly from that first 150 metres, so he looks like he's just settling into his rhythm now. And he turns in 200 metres at 2:11.75, so that's a 35.65 split for the Bangor swimmer in lane 4, which is a good half a second ahead of the splits of Waterson and the rest of the field. So at this stage, early stage of an 800, it is Wright, and he's still slightly pulling away from the rest of the team, but the rest of the field. But there's a long way to go in this 800 freestyle yet.
Once again, is heat declared, so the faster you swim, the better your chances. But these are all swimmers in the first heat who were under 10 minutes, 9 minutes 28 from Samuel Wright's the fastest entry time. He's in 4. And you compare that to Nathan Whiffen, who's going over the final heat, who's in 8 minutes 20, so there's a huge contrast there. And bar disaster for Whiffen, he'll take the title.
Yeah, we've seen Nathan swimming earlier on in this meet in the 400 freestyle. He was in a good race with Finn McGeever last night. It was Finn who got the touch, and of course Finn is heading out to the European Championships in a couple of weeks, so he's not fully rested for this meet. He is focused on that competition in Rome in a couple of weeks. But it was great for him to get in, have a great race against Nathan Whiffen, and to get his hand on the wall first last night. Sub 4 minutes, I think he went 3:57 versus Nathan's 3:59. But we're going to see Nathan again having a crack at this 800 freestyle in the timed final in heat 3 of 3 in just a little bit.
And that team for the European Championships, by the way, is Vicky Catterson, freestyle specialist. Then we got Owen Corby from Limerick, along with Niamh Coyne from the National Centre here, the breaststroke specialist. Liam Custer, who's out in the USA at the moment with Sarasota Sharks. Conor Ferguson, the backstroker. Dara Green, the breaststroker, Olympian. Danielle Hill, Olympian as well. Grace Hodgins. Brendan Hyland, who's out in Australia at the moment. Molly Main is also competing, along with Max McCusker, Finn McKeever, Jack McMillan, Mona McSharry, who's in Tennessee, Robbie Powell, good to see him back, Shane Ryan, also good to see him back as well, Jordan Sloan and Ellen Walsh. Three of those swimmers, actually, Molly Main, Liam Custer and Grace Hodgins, were due to swim at the World Junior Championships in August. That was moved from Kazan in Russia to Lima in Peru with a revised competition date that subsequently spanned then in September. So Main, Custer and Hodgins were supposed to swim with that, but they've actually now put them into the European swimming team. I think that's better, actually. It's a long way to go for a World Junior Championships, all the way to Peru, a lot of travelling as well. I think being part of a bigger team at the Rome meet would be better for the likes of those three.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because you obviously want those swimmers to go to World Junior Championships and to compete and to be right up there in the mix with the other best of the world in terms of junior swimmers, whereas they'll go to European Championships and it'll be great experience for them. It'll be very difficult to get second swims, but that experience of being at one of the biggest stages against all these senior athletes probably stands to their career development and looking forward to the next future years. But I think the big deciding factor in that is it's September. That means when you're traditionally having your break after like your maiden meet, whether that's the summer or whether that's Commonwealth Games or European Championships, they're having to train on their own through that August into September, and then do they have a break in September, October, which just probably has a negative impact on next year. So I think that was a big consideration in that, is like September, a long way to travel. Let's just move them back and keep them on a similar timeline to the rest of the team, have their break post-Europeans, and then can start in September with a fresh season with World Championships happening next year, which will be a big aim for a lot of that team that are heading to European Championships.
Yeah, we've had considerable success at junior levels in the World Championships in the past. Particularly Mona McSherry, Alan Walsh have also competed in World Juniors. It's at their level as well, but Peru's an awful long way away. Even so, with the Shamrock Rovers football team trying to get to Ludogorets, and it's only in Romania, how difficult it was actually to get there. So I think being part of the European teams is not going to be any big deal for the likes of Maine, Custer and Hodgins also being part of that big crew.
Yeah, I remember back in 2011 when I was at European Juniors. On the back of that, they brought us to European Short Course later on in that December as just an experience to show us what a senior meet was like, to get us used to the atmosphere, the environment of these major championships. And it definitely is one of those things that stands to you as a junior athlete, because that transition is quite difficult from a junior swimmer to a senior swimmer. There's a very big difference. For the males, that's an 18-year-old all of a sudden is a junior, and then all of a sudden he's a senior in the space of a couple of days, which is a big transition. And it's the same for the girls. Happens a little bit earlier in the terms of 16, 17, they're considered senior swimmers, but bridging that gap between that junior category and that senior category is good. So getting them early exposure for the likes of Custer and Hodgins and is really important. So I think it's a good opportunity for those swimmers to get that exposure and get racing in a really world-class environment.
So this is the opening heat in the water you've been watching, the 800 freestyle, coming up to the last 100 and the bell. Lane 2.
We saw Tedesco in the 200 IM have a really strong finish on that freestyle leg, so expect to see him to have a little bit of a kick on this last leg. But you really see the importance of tactics in this 800 freestyle. Samuel Wright, the Bangor swimmer in lane 4, had about a 5-6 meter lead at the halfway point, but he's just went out too hard, and the rest of these swimmers over the second half of the race have just reeled him in. But it is Tedesco in lane 2 who's pushing quite hard, but he's got some competition from the Limerick swimmer Horgan in lane 6. And there is just over a half a second between these two swimmers as they swim with 35 meters to go. So who has it in them to get their hands on the wall first? It's marginally Tedesco at this point, but Horgan is pushing hard from Limerick.
It's a good finish to this race. Lane 6 has suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Darragh Horgan in Limerick. Can he just get the touch here? I think he's just shy. Tedesco takes it, but a good finish from Darragh Horgan. Quicker split the last 50 as well to take him close. 9:26.83 the winning time. Tedesco, Horgan, and then Ben Merrigan in third.
Yeah, that's some strong swimming from both of those boys there. Almost 10 seconds faster than their entry times. In fact, it is 10 seconds faster than their entry times for both Darragh Horgan and Danielle Tedesco there from Ealing. So good strong swimming in that 800 heat from both of those boys.
So Horgan has to sit and wait now for the next two to see if he's got a chance, but 9:26 is relatively slow compared to the other two heats we're going to see. The fastest qualifier for the next one is Keane Foley on 9:15, and then Whiffen, who's way ahead of that, almost a minute, 8:20. He's in the final heat. This is our penultimate swim then on this, the first session of the final morning, and there's your lineup. Away they go, to a roar from the crowd as Mark Gill hits the water in 0 from Trojan. Ards alongside him in the shape of Daniel Harvey. Tristan Egan in 2. Emmett Cousins in 3 from New Ross. Egan's from Aer Lingus. Keane Foley of New Ross, a teammate of Emmett Cousins, a few years old, he's 23. Cousins is 16. Coolmine Swimming Club in Dublin. Killian O'Loughlin Brophy, seen him swim already this morning from Coolmine. Aer Lingus have a second swimmer in this, in 17-year-old David Coyle. And Patrick Ferry of Lisburn's in 7. Tolba of Hamilton Athletics in Dubai, the 15-year-old Rahem Tolba is in lane number 8. And then David Korska of the Czech Republic is in lane number 9. 16 lengths of the pool, the penultimate race of this morning, the men's 800 free.
At this 100-metre mark, I'm watching Cillian O'Loughlin Brophy, the 16-year-old from Coolmine. He looks so long in the water. He's only 16 years of age, but when you watch him swim, he looks big in the water. That's a really sign of a good technical swimming. He's stretching out nice and long at the front of his stroke. He's not rushing it. He's keeping his hand nice close to the surface of the water. Just means he's not wasting energy. Breathing every 2 the whole way through so far. So he looks like he's in a really strong position, the O'Loughlin Brophy from Coolmine in lane 5.
Well, we talked there about the swimmers swimming at the European Championships, the Commonwealth Games. Northern Ireland have a team, obviously, in Birmingham from the 28th of July to the 8th of August. It's Daniel Hill. Daniel Whiffen is concentrating on that rather than doing the Europeans, because he's just done the Worlds. Jack McMillan, part of the relay squad, is from in Tokyo last year. Vicky Catterson also involved, along with Grace Davidson, Kathleen McCaw, Molly McClorum. There's also 3 para swimmers. Bethany Firth, who did swim for Ireland at one stage but then changed her allegiance to swimming for Britain. She's swimming for Northern Ireland, though, in the part of the 3-team para swimmers in Birmingham. Barry McClements and Shomer Ní Brodick. And they also have a diver there as well. That's Tanya Watson. Good luck to her.
Yeah, the Commonwealth Games is a great opportunity for those swimmers to get some of those swimmers to get international exposure for the first time. Commonwealth Games is a really competitive event, having been based in Scotland for a number of years. Before I went over there, I never really appreciated how much emphasis they place on the Commonwealth Games. So for those Northern Irish swimmers, it's the one chance that they get to race and compete for Northern Ireland, just like it's the one chance for the Scottish swimmers or the Welsh swimmers or the English swimmers to swim for their respective home nations. So it's a really good event, and those Northern Irish swimmers will get chances to get second swims. It's maybe not quite as deep at the back end as European Championships. You get to about 12, 13, 14 and it starts to tail off. But that top end of Commonwealth Games is really competitive. So it's really hard to win medals, but it is a really good opportunity for those Northern Irish swimmers to get second swims when they go over there to Birmingham next week. I actually think they're travelling over in the next couple of days to settle into the village and get into the pool there in Birmingham. It's a new facility that they just built specifically for this, so I'm sure it'll be a fantastic event for those Northern Irish swimmers. In this race, it looks like there's 3 clear leaders. You've got Cillian O'Loughlin Brophy from Coolmine, who maybe is slightly edging it against the Hamilton Aquatics, the Dubai swimmer, Raheem Tolba in lane 8. And then there's a New Ross swimmer in lane 3, Emmet Cousins. We saw him yesterday in the 400 freestyle. And we saw him also in the 200 IM earlier this morning. So he's had a busy meet, he's been swimming well. But these 3 swimmers are all in the line. 4:28.7 for the Hamilton Aquatic swimmer, 4:28.7 for O'Loughlin Brophy, and Cousins just behind in a 4:29 at that halfway stage.
Yeah, interesting to hear about Kathleen McCaw, who's swimming for Northern Ireland at the Commonwealth Games. She's been out of the pool for 6 years. Australian born, Ivy League University in the United States. May never have set foot in the pool, if you mind the pun, if a doctor hadn't recommended swimming to help with a medical complaint. But moved to Northern Ireland 2 years ago, and it's her first major games. Well, it's an awful long time to be out of the pool.
it is a long time out of the pool. You're seeing that now with some of the senior athletes making comebacks. I know there's the big story in world swimming is Cody Simpson, the Australian. He was a really highly touted junior swimmer in the Australian ranks when he was a junior, but then he took off, his music career took off, and he became quite a famous musician. And then he came back in Tokyo 2021 year with the intention of trying to qualify for Paris. But a year later, he's now made Commonwealth Games, so he's made an international team. 100 fly, he was second at the trials. He was third at the trials, Australian trials. And that put him on a team for the Commonwealth Games a year after his comeback, after being out of the water for 8-10 years. So it does show that if you have that underage pedigree and you get back and you work hard, and I think the technical aspects are the hardest thing to get right. If you focus on the fundamentals, within a relatively short period of time, 2 years, you can get back to international racing, which is quite impressive.
We're coming up on 200 metres to go then. This the second heat of 3 in the 800 free for boys and men. It's still lane 8, Talba, the 15-year-old from Hamilton Aquatics in Dubai, who leads them through. Second is Emmett Cousins of New Ross, and then Cool Minds Brophy O'Loughlin, or O'Loughlin Brophy even.
These 3 swimmers spread across the pool in lane 3, lane 5 and lane 8, but there's very little separating them as they approach the 150 metres to go mark. It's the Hamilton Aquatic swimmer Talba who's slightly ahead.
He's gone to his kick early, hasn't he, Nick?
Yeah, he has. I mentioned at the start of the race how I really liked O'Loughlin Brophy's technique. He looked long and efficient. He still looks long and efficient, so if he has any energy left and is able to increase his rate, he looks like he's actually slightly increasing it just now. He could be within a contention to catch up and just maybe overtake these 2 boys. But
yeah, Talba put in a fast last 50 there. He did go to the feet, but this is going to be a really good battle between these 3 down the last 100 metres. Talba still has the lead, Cousins in second, and O'Loughlin Brophy in third. There's nothing between them.
Yeah, and they're all splitting 34-2, 34-0, 34-0, so they're all splitting the same times, and it really is going to be who has that little bit left in their legs for this last 50. Talba looks like he's working hard, but he does have the edge slightly at this stage.
Well, after 750 metres, it comes down to this. The last 50 metres, and this is the second heat of the 800 metres freestyle. Still Talba who leads, Cousins in second, O'Loughlin Brophy in third. There's plenty of encouragement from the crowd here for the Irish swimmers in the middle lane. Talba's just about clinging on here, but a good finish in lane 3. This was a good swim from Cousins, timed this beautifully. Above him in lane 5, O'Loughlin Brophy also with a good finish as well. It's about the touch here, and Cousins takes it with a sub 31 second last 50, and my word, he enjoyed that.
That is fantastic swimming there. Look at that last 50 splits for those 3 guys. 30.7 for Cousins, 30.3 for Cillian O'Loughlin Brophy. He was really motoring there, and 31.3 for Talba. He was the early leader. You had mentioned, John, that he seemed like he'd gone to his legs a little bit with 150 metres to go. Those other 2 boys had that little bit of a surge and were able to just get ahead of him there. But what 9/100 separating Cousins and O'Loughlin Brophy after 800 metres of swimming. So fantastic racing in that heat 2 there.
Good to see the emotion in the water too. 9:17.36 was his entry time. 9:00.45, just missed out on breaking the 9 minutes, the 16-year-old. He'll do that eventually, no doubt about that, but he looked very, very pleased at the end of that race, and a very good swim between himself and O'Loughlin Brophy. That was a terrific race, and Talba in third. This is the final race of the morning then. It is the third of our 800 metres freestyle, and the undoubted favourite here, Nathan Whiffen in 4. An entry time of 8:20 is way ahead of the rest, so it's Alexander McAleer of Galway in 16. Big day for Galway, taking on Kerry later on in the All-Ireland football final. No doubt they'll be watching if they can. Adam Colgan in lane number 1 from Lisburn. And Glasgow swim team, Marshall Illingworth in 2. James Cummings Candell of Ards is in lane number 3, the 17-year-old. So many of these swimmers as well with double names. And then Nathan Whiffen looked really eased with himself as coming out to the bank listening to tunes. The 21-year-old, he's a seasoned professional. And Dennis O'Brien from Limerick is in lane number 5. He's just 15. Ronan Fahy of Trojan is in lane number 6. Then Aer Lingus Swimming Club, represented by Ben Moran in 7. Lisburn have Daniel Edgar and then Niall McGowan Banbridge out in lane number 9.
And it is Nathan Whiffen, no surprise, who is the early leader in this race. 59.31 at that 100 metre split. Nathan had 2 really solid 400 freestyle swims yesterday. He did 3:59 in the heats, came back in the evening, went 3:59 again. So 2 sub 4 minute swims yesterday for Nathan, and now he follows that up. So that's 800 metres worth of freestyle racing last night. He's got another 800 metres of freestyle ahead of him here today as he just turns at 150 metre mark.
Yeah, Swift boys like the distance events, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do. Nathan's also a very good 200 back roller. He's a 200 back and distance freestyle event, but yeah, the Whiffen twins are definitely not shy of some hard work.
Both swimming out of the University of Loughborough. And as we suggested, he is the quality swimmer of all of these, and he's just immediately made that break, and it's all about posting the fastest possible time to take the title, and no doubt about it, Whiffen's going to win this in a canter.
Yeah, he's settled into his rhythm here. 31.23 on that 50, just over that 30-point marker for these 50s. That's so important in this 800 freestyle, is finding your rhythm early, settling into it, and then being consistent right through the race, and then hoping that you have a little bit of a kick on that last 50, that last 100. But at this 300 metre mark, Nathan Whiffen almost has about 15 metre lead on the rest of the field, but there's 5 boys almost in a line here for that second place in this heat from lane 1, lane 2, 5, 6 and 7.
Yeah, the fastest from the previous heat was 9:00.45, so there's medals up for grabs here in this, the final heat. It's heat declared winners, so the fastest, second and third take the 1, 2, 3 and the gold, silver, bronze. Whiffen's way out in front, but the rest are battling for times and also for medals.
Again, another 31.5 split there from Nathan Whiffen, just being consistent like a metronome through this middle section of this race. You can see he's nice and long out of the front. He's not rushing his stroke. Almost swimming like a catch-up stroke, which is quite efficient for that 800 metre event or the 1500 metre event. Of course, this is now an Olympic event for the first time ever. This was brought in for Tokyo. He brought in the 800 for the men and the 1500 for the women, which was the first time ever in Tokyo. So what that's done is it's really increased the standard. More people are focusing on this because swimming is an Olympic sport. It's the major focus is the Olympics. So when you make an Olympic event, that competition really starts to ramp up, and times right across the world start to improve.
It just used to be 800 for the women, the distance events at the Olympics, and 1500 for men, but now that's all equalled up. Men and women competed 800 and 1500 at the Olympic Games, only introduced, as Nick said, for the first time at the Tokyo Olympic Games. 15-20 metres ahead of the rest of the field. Those of you who like your swimming, just keep an eye on how he's swimming is after this turn. You'll see the hands go through and they come out of the hip.
Yeah, you've got that real extension at the back of his hip, using those triceps to get that push out. Really propels you through each stroke cycle. You're not wasting any of your strokes. That's so important, especially in a longer distance event, that every stroke you take is meaningful, it's connected, it's powerful. That's connected at the front of your stroke, connected at the middle, and as you said, John, connected right through at the back end of your stroke as well.
Yeah, most important to be efficient in a freestyle event. So it's not what you do above the water, although you need to get the hand into the water as quickly as you possibly can. That's where all the power and everything comes. It's under the water, so long strokes, hand down by the hip, bring it out as fast as you possibly can, take your breath, and then do all the work under the water, pull through on the stroke.
Yeah, like you said, John, it doesn't really matter, well, it does to an extent, but it doesn't really matter what it looks like over the water. It's where that connection and that power is under the water. And we mentioned Paltrinieri, who won the 1500 at the World Championships a couple of months ago. Technically, you'd look at Paltrinieri and think, not that good. But if you look at him underwater, he is so connected, so powerful, and he's got able to swim at quite a high tempo the whole way through. Even a 1500 race makes him one of the, he's world champion, but he's over the last number of years one of the dominant male distance freestyle swimmers. I was lucky enough to be in a training camp at altitude where the Italian team, or some of the Italian team, him and Detti were training, and some of the sets and some of the work they were doing was phenomenal. I was glad I was a breaststroker and not a distance freestyler looking at them.
The American Robert Fink is the Olympic champion. Paltrinieri was second and Romanchuk was third. That was the likes of Florian Wellbrook as well. They're the likes of the swimmers that Daniel, the brother, was competing against at the World Championships. So that's the kind of pedigree that the Irish swimmers involved in. But here's the brother now in the last 100 on his way to the gold medal.
And that was another 31 split for Daniel on that 50, so he's been really consistent right through this race, swimming those 31 points, getting into his rhythm early and settling into it. Let's see now, with 50 to go, does he have a bit of a kick left in him? You can see his leg kick is starting to go a little bit harder here, but be interesting to watch him as he comes over off the turn and into the last 50.
My word, those bells are piercing on the ears. Anyway, last 50 for Whiffen. Class of his own. He's nearly going to lap one of the swimmers out in lane number 9, Niall McGeown. Well, this is all about him and the clock, and he's gone, you see, to the back legs, kicking 6-feet kick. Arms coming through, last 5 metres. Let's have a look at his time. Can he beat the 8:20? Just outside. 8:20.58. 8:20.28 is his entry time. Well, that's consistent.
That's very consistent. Consistent with his entry time and consistent with his splits the whole way through. That last 50 was at 30.4. You can see he's breathing hard after that 800 freestyle. Tough event.
Second home is Illingworth. And third, Adam Colgan of Lisburn. Good swim in lane 1 from him. There you 1, 2, 3, and they'll be the medal winners as well, because they are the quicker swimmers compared to the rest of the heats through. So if you think 800 meter swimming isn't easy, or is easy, just have a look at Whiffen. Center your shot there. He's exhausted.
Yeah, 800 freestyle is a tough event. He's doing everything he can, hanging over that lane rope, trying to catch his breath, trying to get some oxygen in his lungs, because it is a tough, grueling event. 8 minutes, over 8 minutes worth of swimming, and although he settled into his rhythm and hitting those 31s, he's pushing that pace the whole way through to make sure that they're consistent.
Well, we thought we were going to wrap things up, but we do have one more race to bring you, which is a swim off. So we'll avert our attention to the left-hand side of the pool. I was very impressed with Whiffen there as well. You can see how professional he is too. Just the way he just leant on the lane ropes there, just composing himself after that tough swim. 8:25.8, good swim.
Yeah, for sure, a good swim. Tough to do it on your own as well, so to get right on his entry time, literally racing him in the clock is a tough ask. But he, as you said, a really professional swim there from Whiffen, and he is going to be the Irish champion in that 800, Irish summer champion in that 800 meter freestyle.
So our last race then is a swim off lane 4, and this Heather Fain. It's a 50 fly. This is to see obviously who's going to get through to the final later on today. And in lane 5 it is Lily May Ruddy, just the one length of the pool. Ruddy in 5, Fain in 4. Obviously split the same time, and that's why we got this runoff.
Yeah, I'm assuming that this will be for a place in that final. They'll be swimming off. They'll both be a reserve, and they'll be going head to head here to see who can get into that final for this open category in the women's 50 fly.
Heather Fain in the yellow cap in lane 4, alongside her Lily May Ruddy. Winner take all.
Good underwaters to start the race from Heather Fain, but Lily Mays looks like she's catching her here with 15 to go. They're neck and neck.
Well, they split exactly the same time in the heats. Let's see who's going to take this now. This is all about how you touch the wall, and it's Ruddy who takes it. 29.46. There's your confirmation. Second place was Heather Fain. Ruddy advances. Fain, just a little, you can see it out of shot, the two of them having a bit of a laugh and a conversation. Good to see between those two. That was a good race.
Yeah, good to see that camaraderie between the two swimmers. The swim off is that head to head, and it literally is about getting the touch on the wall first. So good sportsmanship there from both those swimmers, and that wraps up this morning's session.
Yeah, thanks for the moment, Nick. We will be back with the second session of 3 today, and we will be here at around 12:15 for a 12:20 start. We've got heat declared winners for the women's 400 IM. We've got the men's 200 IM, and then the female 800, male 800 to come. But for the moment, for myself, John Kenny, and Nick Quinn, until about 12:15. We'll talk to you then. Bye for now.